Aaliyah Rosa, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Sean. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being here. A real world honeypot.
Well,
Former honeypot.
former, yes. Thank you. Otherwise, I would be like, who knows what will happen with me tomorrow.
No, I've been really excited about this interview. Thanks. I'm glad we were able to make it work. I knew we had to reschedule, but what caught I saw you popped up on my Instagram feed, and you were talking about, I believe you were talking about spies in Silicon Valley. And so that caught my attention because I've been interviewing a lot of tech giants from Silicon Valley, startups and very established. And, I have breakfast or lunch or dinner a lot of times with the guests off camera. And a handful of these guys were talking about Russian and Chinese
Ukrainian
honeypots, spies that are going in there. And, they meet these tech guys that there's probably a handful of them that have never been with a woman, and then a beautiful woman comes, and then there goes all the secrets back to Russia, China, Ukraine, wherever.
Well,
right?
Russia also has a strong secret intelligence.
I figured, and so and so we would have these conversations, and I was a GRS contractor for the Central Intelligence Agency, and through a lot of my deployments, one thing that I noticed is I didn't see any Russian ones, but I saw a lot of Chinese brothels that were being set up all over Iraq, all over Afghanistan, all over the Middle East, pretty much anywhere that Americans are working outside of the U.S. and definitely inside the U.S. They have brothels where they're trying to lure in State Department, intelligence professionals, anybody that they can, kind of get their hands on. So it was an interesting dialogue every single time, and then I was surprised. I wasn't surprised, but I was like, oh shit! Like, you guys are very aware of this kind of stuff. And then about a month later, you popped up, and I was like, we have to do this. So thank you.
Thank you
for
so
coming.
much. No, I really appreciate it. I appreciate it so much for being inviting to your interview, because usually press, when I give interview or something, press, they either exaggerate everything, either they write more, and they call me like these crazy names, like, the sex spy reveals the confession, or like the sex spy manipulator tells the whole truth and all this. So I understand they need to sell it, but I mainly gave an interview about how to prevent manipulation, especially for those men who work in tech companies who are super busy. They don't have time to go and socialize, and meet women, who are devoted to their work, and hence when they meet someone online, like virtually, sometimes because of their kindness, or maybe because they're naive, sort of, they don't even think that behind this account may be a fake account of a professional, mature, male, intelligent officer who pretends to be this cute, nice, young female, girl wearing like bikinis or wherever on the beach, and love bombing his account through these social platforms like LinkedIn and, could be Instagram, Facebook, wherever. And this poor man, because they don't have female attention during the day, they buy it. And because they go too into this relationship, they've been manipulated, and it's really sad. Because, when I gave an interview, I was actually in New York Times Post, I was actually giving some techniques how to prevent manipulation, how to see through this manipulation, and how to understand what are the red flags, not just for men, but for women too. There's so many online scammers, right? And we know so many who actually, love bombing you in order to get some money out of you and like hack your accounts or like bank accounts or whatever. So the Times article went out like 22nd October. And in the Times magazine, it said that according to the Commission of the theft of the American intellectual property, the theft on the trade secrets, cost over $600 billion to American taxpayers annually. Over $600 billion. Yes, so you can go and yes, it's in the article and it's the whole investigation. Actually, there is an expert, James Malvinon, if I'm, pronounce it correctly. He is actually for 30 years investigating espionage in corporations, such as corporations in Silicon Valley. And that's exactly what he says, that he looks like about 60 years old guy. He said, I've been targeted and I've been contacted by so many Chinese, beautiful, pretty accounts in LinkedIn, where I understand probably they are spies or fake accounts.
Mm-hmm.
You see? Mm-hmm. So that's what's going on. And that's why we would like to bring awareness, me particular, to this man to be very careful when they have these messages online from these pretty, beautiful young girls. Why would they find you? How would they find you? Why would you think that they want to kind of date you and whatever, just because you're cute? I mean, think about where do you work? What kind of information?
Let's be honest, a lot of them aren't cute. So, but it's. So we'll get to all that. I think that's very important. But I just thought the interview would be fascinating, and it's going to be even more fascinating than I thought because originally when I just saw the clip, and so I was like, we have to get her, and then going through the outline and as the team's been talking to you about the outline, I mean, so you were basically trafficked. And this is a lot. This is a lot different than what I was thinking. So, it sounds like you were trying to take down basically trafficking networks, traffickers. Am I correct?
Yes.
And there's a lot of trauma involved in that, and a lot of recovery.
Yes, a lot of. I still work with a therapist every week.
Really?
Yeah, for 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah, and I still have PTSDs and anxiety, and it's a big challenge.
I'll bet it is.
Very. Sometimes there are some days that it's just even my spy techniques don't really help that much. I mean, of course they do help, but still, sometimes I find myself that I just cannot go through the day, and it's really hard. So, yeah.
Well, everybody starts off with an introduction here. So here we go. Aliyah Rosa, a former secret agent turned woman empowerment coach, public speaker, and influencer. Born in the former Soviet Union into a Kazakh Tatar family of high-ranking Soviet military officers. Your grandfather was a national hero who fought the Nazis during World War II. At 18, you became a Russian FSB-trained seduction agent, where you dedicated yourself to combating drug and human trafficking. And then you defected from Russia, writing a book that reveals secret spy techniques based on the KGB program, and there's a documentary being produced about your life. And then we pulled a quote that I thought was pretty interesting from you. At the end of the day, when I saved someone's life, I felt good about it. But I never asked myself how I felt being in a body that was constantly abused and raped by random men. One former FBI agent said I was a broken toy, that I was sex trafficked myself. But all my classmates, we didn't feel this way. We felt patriotic. We were ready to sacrifice and do anything for our government. That's how I felt. It's a pretty powerful statement.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a pretty powerful statement. So like I was saying, before we started rolling the cameras here, I would like to do a life story on you, and then toward the end of it, talk about some tradecraft and manipulation techniques, how to avoid it, and all that kind of good stuff. And who knows what kind of rabbit holes we'll go down after that. But before we do, everybody gets a gift.
Oh, thank you.
Vigilance Elite gummy bears.
Wow, thank you. Can I try it?
Of course.
Can I try it here?
You can try it right here.
I'm so excited. I've seen it. I was like wondering, what is the taste of these gummies? So curious. By the way, while I'm unpacking it quickly, so we are working on documentary. It's not produced. I mean, it's not produced yet. We're just like in the beginning of the beginning. I just signed a deal with Topic Studios, but we didn't even start filming it. So yeah, it's not.
Oh, really?
There yet. Yeah.
Do you have any idea when it will be out?
Probably next year, but I think like the book will come out earlier than the documentary because everything like basically coming from the book. They're looking for the IP, blah blah blah, and then you know how it is.
Are you going to be in it, or they?
In a documentary, yes, but TV show, no. TV show, somebody else will film.
Right on.
Let's hide it here.
What's that?
So I'll just hide this thing. Okay, so. All right, so I'm ready to try. They're so cute.
All right, let's see what you think.
Oh my God.
Not bad, huh?
Very, very good.
Right on.
Wow.
Right
I
on.
actually save it to my son. He loves it.
Right
He loves
on.
gummy bears. Really nice taste.
Thank you. We'll give you an extra bag for your son.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. I appreciate it.
And then one more thing to knock out. So I have a Patreon account. It's a subscription account. These folks have been with us since the very beginning, and they're the reason that I get to sit down here with you today. And so one of the things we do is we give them the opportunity to ask every guest a question. So this is from Stephen Casey. What is the percentage you think of compromised U.S. government actors by honeypots across all three branches of government?
Wow.
We know there's Eric Swalwell, right, who was sleeping with the Chinese spy. He's still in there, by the way.
I mean, I don't know this information.
But
Well, percentage, that's actually really hard to estimate.
how
Really
common do you think it is? Do you have any insight on that?
I know that it's very common. Actually, in the podcast To Die For, when Neil did the whole investigation and all that, we have one lady who lives in New York right now. So she's Ukrainian Ukrainian born, and she was a model scout. So she said in the interview that she was bringing Russian and Ukrainian beauties working for the secret intelligence to America, especially to Washington and New York, to target particular politicians and ministers to get closer, to establish relationship, maybe to get married. So it's quite common. Then you even think, maybe, I'm not saying that every single Russian or Ukrainian or wherever, like Slovakian looking woman is a potential threat and potential spy. No, but man should be aware of this.
I mean, I think of it like this. It's pretty fucking simple, right? If you are a man or a woman in a position of power, if you hold the keys to new technology, if you are a decision maker in government, if you are in intelligence and know shit about our government and what we're doing in areas of the world that maybe we shouldn't be in, and all of a sudden, young, attractive, foreign women or men are all around you, and you're not used to that happening, there's probably something fucking going on. You're not that good looking. You don't have that good a game. You're just a fucking government employee or elected official who knows shit that our adversaries want. So get with the fucking program.
Yes, but Sean, you do understand. You work in the military before. You understand the psychology of human beings, right? Show me any man who doesn't want to believe that he's been loved because he's cute. Show me anyone. If I or any woman would come to the guy, even like not like best looking, and would tell him, I find you very cute. I like you. I like your beautiful eyes. Oh, you're so intelligent. You're so amazing. Wouldn't he resist? Wouldn't he say no to me or like to another woman?
Well, I mean, look, I get it's hard. I totally understand that. But I mean, you have to look at the position that you're in, right? And if something out of the normal starts to happen and you have the keys to new technologies or you know what I mean, then like I don't know. I would think that you would be able to put it together a little bit better than these guys are.
Okay, so let me please share one example from the history. So the famous scientist, the genius, Albert Einstein, was targeted by a female Soviet Union spy when, after he, was very close to Oppenheimer and had, evening gatherings and dinners together. So this beautiful young female attracted Einstein, where he was invited to New York for a sculpture exhibition or something. So she met him over there, yet she was married to a sculpture artist. And then she kind of like relocated herself to Albert Einstein, and they established love relationships. Then Albert started to take her to Oppenheimer house, where she established very good friendship with Oppenheimer's wife. And where slowly through the wife and through like friends and Einstein, the Soviet spy, her name I think was Margarita, if I'm not mistaken. So she was taking all this information and report this information, this data to Soviet government, where actually Soviets invented the nuclear bomb during 2 years instead of 4, just because they stole this data. And here is a genius, very smart man, Albert Einstein, who actually was trapped under this honey trap techniques. So I don't know if this guy was trapped, like how about other guys, So I don't know.
What kind of a timeline are we talking here?
So when Oppenheimer,
years?
Manhattan Project, when it was Manhattan Project. So it was after, I think like Einstein was that time.
I mean,
like 60?
how long was the relationship between the spy?
I don't really know this information, but this information is actually in the history and in Russian history. Also, like in here, you can Google it. You can actually check facts and everything. But they actually established relationship. They lived together like husband and wife. So Albert completely trusted this Margarita. So that's why he was bringing her to all these, family sort of like friends evenings and gatherings.
Interesting. So, I mean, okay, that's a little bit different of a scenario than what I was trying to describe. Is, I mean, that sounds like a well-crafted operation.
Like social engineering.
Yes. Some of the stuff that I'm talking about is just your regular everyday hookup at the bar, and it's like, why? Don't talk about the secrets after the first or second night. I mean,
Okay, so as a former honey trap agent, I can tell you that men are the most vulnerable during intercourse. And if you are quite experienced agent, you can ask certain questions during or after the intercourse, like straight after the ejaculation. Sorry but I don't know another word to explain. So when man is in bliss and when he's sort of like in unconscious like condition and when he doesn't really understand everything clearly, and if an agent asks questions like the answer should be yes or no. So it's simple question. Have you met this guy? Oh, by the way, have you met that guy? Oh, by the way, do you know, is it like this or like this? How many, like that much or like that much? So just a little, like 2-3 simple questions. Most likely he would tell you, because like just before ejaculation or just after, this is that, period of that very vulnerable moment. So here you go. she got the information, she'll pass it to the commander.
Gotcha. When you're out there working in real conditions, you need gear that can keep up. Brunt's Marin boots are built for exactly that. Rain, mud, shop floors, farm fields, whatever the job throws at you. They're fully waterproof and ready from day one. No break-in and no sore feet. Brunt was started by a guy who grew up blue collar and got tired of hearing that big brands stopped listening. So he built work boots and workwear that are tough, comfortable, and designed for people who actually do the work. And it's not just boots anymore. Brunt has expanded into heavy-duty work pants, outerwear, and gear built to take a beating while keeping you comfortable on the job. They even let you try it on site because they know it holds up. With temps dropping and the holidays coming up, it's time to treat yourself or the hardworking man in your life to real comfort. Skip the throwaway gifts and get him something built to last. Brunt Workwear. Our listeners get $10 off their entire order with code SRS at checkout. That's bruntworkwear.com and use code SRS. Order today and let them know you heard it here on this show. Want to stay up to date on all things SRS? You bet your ass you do. Our newsletter brings you the latest SRS news and critical updates. Get instant alerts on the newest episodes. Never miss a beat. Exclusive intel briefs from counterterrorism expert Sarah Adams. You've seen her many times on the show. She's going to give unfiltered insights on global terrorist activity. For Patreon exclusives, you're going to get epic range days with me and damn near every guest that's come in the studio. You're also going to get behind-the-scenes content and guest updates. You're going to get first dibs on new merch drops and limited edition items that will never be sold again. Plus, exclusive offers from our partners you won't find anywhere else. So subscribe to the Vigilance Elite newsletter right now. I mean, it makes it makes sense, and I know it's happening. But you know, if it was me and somebody was asking if I knew another man that was prominent right after I ejaculated, I'd probably be wondering why we're thinking about other men. But I am. But we're gonna get into this.
Other men, but about like the work. So you kind of like, oh, you know, my love, you work so hard. You're so busy. Everything is on your shoulders. I want to help you. Let me do massage for you. How was your day today? La la la. Okay, so do you do this project by yourself? Or you work like, I work with like David, let's say. Oh, like, does he help you? Like, oh, what does he do exactly? No.
Gotcha.
You know, this sort of conversation. Like a female nurturing conversation with the man, and she wants to support him and just please him and all that. That's what I mean. It's a female kind of like energy and female perspective. So
What do you think? I mean, since we're on this top, I mean, we're talking about getting secrets and all this other stuff. But what do you think about the Epstein stuff? I'm very curious about your thoughts on that.
Oh my God.
The blackmail operation, supposed blackmail operation. What do you think that was?
Okay, so my personal opinion on everything I see in the media and in the news. When I didn't see it myself, and I didn't see the facts and evidences, I cannot give my opinion just based on someone's thoughts or someone's statements. I do not trust none of the media or wherever I hear or I listen. I always do my own investigation. So I haven't been there. I haven't seen it. So that's why I wouldn't say my own opinion about that. And I don't want to repeat someone's opinion on that, because it could be all this, like every single story has two sides, like a coin. On one side, it could be a setup. It's always a setup when a powerful, wealthy man trying to get more power or more money and somebody else doesn't want him to do, and they like competed, blah, 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 and that's why the competitor would set him up. And we see this all the time. It calls actually in the spy world, it calls compromat. compromising materials, compromising someone in order for him or for this target to lose the power. Perhaps this was a compromise. I don't know. I wasn't there. If I would be one of these girls, I would tell you, yes, I was one of the victims and that's what happened. I don't know. On another hand, because there's so many victims and because there's so many evidences, yeah, we kind of like, we can say yes. But again, you know, everything what is presented in media, everything what we see in internet, like I said, like I'm grateful to be here because now you give me an opportunity to speak out from my own like persona, from myself, rather than some journalists write about me, calling me like different names or editing or, you know, writing about me in their own way. So I think like every single person in this world should have his own opinion and should not be under this influence of anyone's thoughts. So make your own opinion, have your own research, do your own investigation, and make an opinion yourself.
It's a good way to be. It's a good way to be. All right. You ready to get into the life story?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Where'd you grow up?
Okay, so I was born in 1984. I was born in Soviet Union. It's sad at the same time to say that this country doesn't exist anymore, but at the same time, I was born in the country which had the stability, where my grandmother would say, tomorrow would be the same day as today. And it would be amazing because you don't need to worry about like, where would you have money? Would you be fired or whatever? Everybody would have the same amount of things in the house, like same amount of money coming every month, same salary. Everybody would wear the same clothes. So everything would be the same. It's kind of boring, but at the same time, and it's maybe utopia, but at the same time, it gives people this stable kind of like foundation where they know that everything is similar and tomorrow will be the same day. So it's the beauty of it. And in 1991, so I kind of like probably would say I have this amazing experience to live on the border of two countries. When in 1991 USSR fall and perestroika began, it's sort of like it was sort of revolution, almost like a civil war, because that time in 91, you know, civilians went to the sort of like the government house, the White House, and they started to bomb to the White House. It was a mess. It was a chaos. Of course, people lost the stability. They lost all the hopes. They lost all the beliefs, you know, like that ideology that you were raised with, that this is your country. You fought for your country in the Second War. They lost over 20 million soldiers in the Second War. And they fought for their house, for the homeland and everything. And then at one point in one day, it just collapsed. Where I spoke with some American friends and they said that, oh, Gorbachev is like the best. Americans love Gorbachev, whereas like Russians, they hate Gorbachev. I mean, like they don't maybe hate, but they definitely judge Gorbachev because he was the one who actually signed this law and USSR fall. So anyway, so I saw this by my eyes where like, you know, you have the stability and happy kind of like people living same day for the, you know, during like their life. And then another day, everything just collapsed. And what happened, I remember that time I was a little girl and we would stand with my mom, my little sister, like she was a newborn. We would stand under the rain, under the wind and the snow for like 5, 6, sometimes 7 hours in order to get some food from the store because there were no food. So you would come to the store, there's no food. You can't buy anything. So you're basically starving. So you would need to bring your members of the family to the store to show like, okay, I'm like, you know, adult and I have 2 kids. Please give me like 3 pieces of bread and like 3 sausages and 3 eggs. And like lines were like insane. And it was like actually a it was happening for quite a long time. I do believe like it was for like 6 months at least. I don't remember exactly like for how long, but it was really bad.
You were like 7?
I was like, yes, 7, right?
84 to 91, 7 years old?
Yes, yes. So it was, I mean, that was my childhood. That's what I remember.
Wow.
And it was like, wow. So it created this sort of like lack of food and lack of stability and lack of like belief what would happen tomorrow. You know, when you're a kid and you are growing with like seeing all that, you understand that everything is so shady and it's like unpredictable and you cannot trust like anything really, neither your government, right? Then my father, that time, he couldn't help my mom because he was constantly at his work where he was not get paid. So he was that time an officer working in the military. He went to the military because of his father, because as you mentioned, like my grandfather was a hero of the country, you know, fighting Nazi. And I mean, it's a big pride of our family. It's a heritage. So I was raised with these beliefs. Like, you know, you also need to go and protect your country. You also need to be, you know, you need to be proud of your roots. So my father was preparing me slowly to this military career, which I didn't know at that time. But every day he would teach me, he would come back home, we would have a dinner, and he would teach me at least 1 hour a day about all the psychological techniques, which I didn't understand at that time, like different scenarios in life. So he would like give me a like test. So this is the situation in life. What would you do? A, B, C. So I would pick up like an answer, and then he would explain me why this would work and why this wouldn't work. So when I was kind of like ready enough, then he taught me the extreme driving, the gun shooting, and of course I had to do physical activities. I actually was, I won like some competitions between like oblasts, which are states. You know, like here are states in Russia, they have oblasts. So it's like a few cities together. So it's like similar. So I won some competitions in like gun shooting. I was the best gun shooter. And you asked me like, shall we do the gun shooting? I'm like, I kind of like miss it. But for me, this is like PTSD, you know? So I try to stay away from guns and all that. So I stand for peace. And so he taught me a lot when I was a teenager. So he was preparing me for my future career. Yet, so I finished my high school with like best grades. Like I was, you know, I was so nerdish. I was so like this, you know, like this bullied girl. First of all, I was only one Asian looking girl in the whole Russian school with like all these kids, blue eyes, blonde. So of course I was bullied, which is normal. Second, I was such a nerd. So nobody would do like homework as normal in high schools. Everybody would be like, you know, going to like dates and all this. I would be the one who would do my homework and reading books at night, you know, like Dostoevsky, Chekhov, like Pushkin. So students, my pupils, like they hated me because I was a nerd. So I always would know. I always would do my homework, and teachers would like, okay, so nobody knows, okay, come on, you know, give us the answer. So of course they hated me. And then at some point, I also felt myself like ugly duckling. So I was not allowed to go out. I was not allowed to, you know, have friends. So I would come after school back home and, you know, be home and prepare my homework and help my mom with the, you know, house and all this. So my father was very, very strict. So I couldn't say no. Also, like they are coming from Muslim background. I'm actually not. I baptized eventually. But anyway, it's another story. So we are coming from Muslim background where a woman doesn't have really the right to say no. So as a woman, you cannot really speak out about your ideas or desires or opinion.
So you grew up Muslim?
Yes.
Okay.
So Kazakh and Tatarstan, they are Muslim. So they believe in Allah, and my grandmother would read Quran. They didn't really speak that language just because in Soviet Union, you had to sort of speak Russian. Everybody, in every school, it would be Russian. So I kind of lost my own language, and my parents didn't speak with me this language. And also in Soviet Union, you were not really allowed to have your own religion. So people who were Christians, Orthodox, they were not really allowed to wear crosses. They were not allowed to go to churches. I mean, that was crazy. Imagine one of the biggest, amazing church, the biggest one in Moscow, in the center, is beautiful. So communists, they actually destroyed it and they created a swimming pool instead of the church. Can you believe that?
No.
This is that's the way it was. So they completely tried to demolish and destroy the belief into God in Russian population. So they were trying to
Why did they do that?
dictatorship of the Soviet Unions, like Stalin dictatorship, Lenin's and all that, of course, because this is the only one religion you should believe. Stalin. This is your father, this is your Tsar, this is your God, everything. So, again, propaganda.
Well, I mean, what was the population doing when they were...
The population, you mean in Soviet Union? I don't know. I mean, I was a little girl when I was raised in Soviet Union, but my grandmother, with whom I was very close, so she would say it was, I don't know, but she would say this was the best time just because they would know what would happen tomorrow. Everybody had the same. Yeah, okay, so that government people, they live like tsars or whatever, like kings, but it's just a small percentage where the 99% of population, they work, they would work, they would raise the kids, they would have the same salary, they would have the stability in life. So everything was the same. So it's
Gotcha.
I don't know, stability, I guess.
Gotcha. So you're a Christian now?
So I baptized when I was, so straight after the military, I decided to come to the God because I lost belief in everything that moment. And, you need to have your inner support. So I came to the God at quite big age because I understood, adult age. So because I understood that I want to have this belief in God and I want to I don't even know how to say, but I just felt like I need it, I felt like this may help me and save me from doing bad things because I tried to suicide. I tried to drug myself. I mean, I was doing really bad things to my body, to myself. It's really embarrassing to speak about it, but I just lost belief.
Okay. We'll get there. So at 18, am I correct? At 18,
yes,
is when it all kind of started for you.
Well, yeah.
I mean, actually, it started from you early because you didn't realize it, but your dad was grooming you.
No, I didn't. Yeah. So I realized it after.
So what happened? I mean, how did you get recruited into being a seductive intelligence operative?
Yeah, it's a whole different. So basically, okay. So let me start from the beginning. So I turned 18, right? I told my dad, I want to work in fashion. So I remember his answer. He said, what is fashion? You have one skirt, one shoes, one blouse. This is your fashion. This is enough. You're going to, this department because I have my friend there who is, who already spoke with him. He can, enroll you at being an agent. That time it was in the department operative investigation. So I have actually all the certificate archives, documents to show what year I started to work there. So he brought me to this department. I met my future commander and I worked there as an intern. And then when they approve you and everything, they send you to the academy to study. So because everybody, when they just enter, they have to know like at least how to shoot from the gun, right? So you need to go through the education. So they're like a special courses. When you come, you are supposed to study like, like gun shooting, like civil law, like admin law, like that time for. So everybody would be divided, like different departments would have different subjects. For example, in my department, we would need to study, of course, like martial arts. So how to arrest a criminal, how to read the psychological profile of the criminal. His tattoos, for example, like his ink on the body. What does it mean? What's his, weakness? Like, what about him? Like his psychological portrait. So you need to kind of like get into there. Then, of course, martial arts, like, jiu-jitsu and sambo and all that. So, for example, you would be in the situation where you have to arrest someone. So you need to protect yourself. Every day we would like shoot from gun of the pistolet Makarov, the Makarov gun. And we would also do, how to call it? I'm so sorry, you may cut it, but I forgot so it's a subject where you learn how to open the lock.
Oh, okay.
Example, how
Breaching.
do you huh?
Breaching.
Maybe, yeah. So I don't really know how to call it in English. Well, but yeah, this sort of like subject where you actually you learn about technologies for agents.
Okay.
So when I came to the academy, we were about like over 300 students for like
300 students?
Yes.
How old is everybody young? Is everybody
Everybody's young, yes.
18,
Everybody young.
19?
From 18 and like, 20, 25. I think like before like 30-ish.
Men and women?
Men and women. Of course, the percentage of women would be obviously much less. So I would say like 10% would be female, the rest male. And they would have a separate dorm. Like male would be like living in a separate dorm. But what happened? So literally in the first day when we had the first like line, when we lined up in front of our teachers, I noticed that the main teacher, like the commander of the main teacher of the school, the director, let's say, he looked at me and he picked up like me and another few girls. And then we were invited to his office. And then we were announced that we are chosen for a special program. And so we are very privileged. They would never call it sex espionage. They would never call it honey trap. I understood it only after. But they said that's a special program which will help you to target those, criminals or people whom will be your task. So you need to study the subjects, you need to learn psychology, and then after you will be given tasks. This will give you more benefits because you would have better salary. You would have better like promotion. You may have like additional vacations, and which was like, wow, that time you would given, that Russians before also they had, and especially in the Soviet Union, they had like really big problem to travel abroad because of the Iron Curtain. Mm-hmm. So you couldn't literally get any visa. So now it's actually happening the same story. So that time also like it was really hard to travel abroad. So you couldn't just go to the embassy and get a visa and travel to America. Like, no. Maybe if you would have a special diplomatic passport or connections or whatever. So when you actually go as this agent, you may be able to fly abroad for special missions. And it's sort of like cool because it sounds like in the movie James Bond, wow, I will go abroad, I'll have like these special missions and I'll see the world, blah, blah, blah. For like 18 years old, it sounds like fascinating, sort of. So when they announced me that I am chosen for this program, I was like, okay, cool. I'm happy to study that. And we were like 5 girls in this special program. So we would go to our main classes. So 6 a.m. would be the first lineup, like, the morning. Then jogging, physical activities, blah, blah, blah. Breakfast. 8 a.m. you have to be in the class. So from 8 to 4, 5 p.m. depends from if you would have physical activities more or whatever, you would be done. Then us, 5 girls, we would go to these special classes for another 2 hours. And then we would catch up with our homework for the next day. And then that's it, we would go. So then again, also either it would be a physical activity, whatever, like jogging or something, then dinner, and then you go and sleep to the dorm. So that was our kind of schedule for the day. Mm-hmm. So every day for a few hours, we would study these subjects, such as psychological techniques. So for example, manipulation techniques, seduction techniques, influence, persuasion techniques, how to read and scan people, how to spot the lie, how to set up a strategy for your target, like this social engineering thing, like how to do it, how to work in a team, how to estimate your target's weaknesses and desires and needs, how to recruit someone, how to make friends, how to attract people, how to make someone to be your informer, again, through manipulation, how to threaten people, your targets particular, so they would want or they have to give you information you need. And of course, additional martial arts, of course, additional sex techniques. So we would study some of the sex techniques in terms of the pleasure for man, I would say, not particularly your pleasure, but how to please the man. But also, which I find really fascinating, and that's what I give to my students a lot, and I think this is a foundation, and I think this really changed me to who I am right now. So when I entered, I was really ugly duckling. I was shy and completely unconfident. So I didn't understand that before, but now I really get it. So we've studied the self-confidence techniques to raise your self-love. So you become so freaking confident to go to any mission that you don't even have any doubt that you may fail. So even now, wherever I go, like public speaking in the Vatican City, like public speaking in United Nations, I was, I told you the story, we were driving here and I had this thought and then I'm like, oh, come on, I always, I know that I can do it. It's just, it's amazing how they taught us how to program your brain for a success, even though it's so hard and you want to give up. And it helped me so much when I went to the war and I went to the really bad, dangerous missions. And I was thinking, that's it. This is the end. But just because of these techniques, I always had this thought no, I know that I can go through that. I know I can do it. I know I'll do it. This is the belief which I didn't have before. And it was placed and planted into my brain. And I believe that this is the foundation of everything.
How long is this school?
Okay, so 6 months. This is the first initial, most important foundational classes. Mm-hmm. Then you go back to your department, wherever you were, you're supposed to work. Then you work, you kind of do the practice. Then when you're getting another rank, for example, high rank, you're supposed to come back and you would be given more subjects, more techniques. You kind of have to be qualified for bigger job, for high rank. You go back, again, 6 months. Sometimes you can do it a year. Other universities, for example, in Moscow one and in St. Petersburg, actually, where Vladimir Putin studied. So they're particular academies where you actually go and you study there as a college for 3-4 years. But because I was already enrolled to the international law university. So I was doing sort of like two universities, like two educational at the same time. So I was studying international law at my university, and I also was doing this. And also after I was working. So yeah.
Wow. So quite
A lot of work. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of education as well.
What point did you realize that sex may be involved?
Sex?
Yeah.
When I was firstly raped. I was virgin.
So
I came to the apartment. I was raped.
So this didn't, the going through the course and talking about seduction and pleasuring a man and all this kind of stuff, you didn't realize that it didn't occur to you that sex would be involved in the job description?
Okay, so about sex. So as I mentioned, my dad was really strict. So I was not allowed to go out when I was living with my family till 18 years old. I didn't even kiss any boy. I didn't even speak with anyone. I was so shy. Like I thought like I'm so ugly and all that. So I was like ugly duckling. So 18 years old, my dad brought me to this department. Literally in a few weeks, like 2 weeks, my commander colleague calls, that time we didn't have cell phones. So he calls to my home phone. My dad obviously picks up, as he always did. And it was about like 8 p.m. So it was evening. And my colleague said, oh, we have alarm. Somebody's killed. Something happened in the city. So she has to come ASAP to our department because we need her to work. And that time I already was enrolled as an intern.
Okay.
So I had to come. So my dad said, like, get ready, go. So I come to my department and I see my colleague being already drunk. You know, something shady going on. He closed the door. He takes the case and he literally starts to beat me and rape me. And
This is 2 weeks after you're 18?
I was enrolled, yes, to this
Holy
department.
shit.
Yet he knew, and he saw my father, who was that time high-ranking officer, bringing me to the commander, where commander like approves me as a future agent. He saw that, right? So he didn't care about this. He said, if you will tell your dad, you know, like your whole family will be fucked. The whole reputation will be fucked. Like, you'd rather not to tell that. Like, because like they will blame you because this is your fault. You see, like the manipulation, you seduced me. This is your fault. I didn't do shit. This is your fault. Number two, I was virgin. I told him like, I have never done it before. Like it doesn't matter. Three, you are going to the military academy anyway. You're supposed to disattach your body from your emotions. This is part of the training. That's what they do. Your body belongs to the state. Your body belongs to the government. You, with your feelings and emotions, it doesn't exist. The soul doesn't exist.
Wow.
Okay? So all these things, and then they literally make you to become sort of like robotic, where even now, unfortunately, but like I cannot do anything about it. Still now, like my body lives completely separate from my emotions. So for example, if I have an intercourse, it doesn't mean that I have any feelings towards this man. So I still can have an orgasm and all that, but and it's all good, but like I don't have any attachment, and I cannot created because I was trained to remove these feelings and emotions from my body. So my body was just a tool in the mission.
Wow.
If it does make sense.
And you never told your dad?
I never told my dad because, I mean, what would I tell him? He brought me there, and then what? He would blame all his life that he did it to him. I mean, like he did it to me. I don't want him to blame himself, I never told him. I think he kind of like understands that there's something there. And you worked in Navy, and you know the statistics that about 20%, and this is what we know, 20% annually 20% of female and also male are targeted for sexual abuse, and 20% are raped in the military. And this is the statistic, like, just open ChatGPT or internet and like it's clearly there. And it's only in the US. Imagine what's the percentage in Russia, like, this countries like Russia or Belarus or like Ukraine or wherever, like countries where the law doesn't really work that much like in America. Like probably it's like, 50%. And when I came to the academy, when I saw that every single female are being sexually abused and basically raped.
All of them.
All of them. Like they basically use them as a meat. Like, so all teachers, they were male, of course. Only 2 were females who actually taught us all these psychological and sex and seduction techniques. So the rest were males. And the thing is, in the podcast To Die For, actually, there is a former CIA agent. He gave an interview. He actually said that, they just sex trafficked their own agents for their own needs, not just for the government needs, but also for their own needs. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, these teachers' male, right? They knew that they have the power over us, so they can easily just use you for their own
whatever
needs,
they want.
For wherever. And obviously, like, I was stuck there. I didn't know what to do. I was 18 years old. I was just raped. Then I come to this academy, targeted by this colonel, the main teacher. And I mean, we had like the whole story and all that. So he literally like had me every other day, and I couldn't do anything about, because like he was also manipulating me. He's like, oh, if you won't do what I say, then you would be kicked out. You would like have very big problems. You have problem with your dad. You cannot, like, you would never be able to work anywhere in Russia because I will write the bad report that you like, did whatever, like illegal things or something. So, I mean, that was cruel. And as a woman, as a female in the military, you couldn't say no.
So you're being raped throughout the entire duration of the school, and so are all the other women?
Yes.
Are you guys talking about this with each other?
We talked about that when we were there, and really sadly to say, but some of them, they had to participate in orgies. Like, I definitely didn't want to do it. I was like, first of all, these male teachers, they were over 50 years old. I'm not like saying that like 50 is like whatever, but okay, when 50 years old man doesn't take care about himself, doesn't do gym and like workout and and he looks gross, and he's like so abusive and telling you like aggressively telling you like you have to do this. When I came to the office first time to this main teacher, the colonel, the first thing he said, do the blowjob. I'm like, I'm thinking, I've never done it before. I have no idea how to do it. And this was, when he told me, this was part of the program. So you have to, this is practice, like you have to learn. Now you know how to do it, like, so I'll teach you. Was it like was it like really part of the program, or was it his own, just needs for his own pleasure? Who knows? I think it was like second rather than first, because I don't want to believe that, but maybe boss. I don't know.
Wow.
But I mean, like, you probably have seen or heard similar stories in military in the United States. I watched that documentary, The Invisible War, and there's so many cases like that. So it's happening everywhere. It's not just in the military, but it's in any corporation, in any industry where they're like more male rather than females. It's really hard to, work, and if you're also like more or less like younger than them and pretty and all that. So sometimes your appearance and your beauty is a curse rather than a blessing.
gift.
Yes. Because like, look, they particularly chose the most pretty, the most youngest girls. And there were like special parameters for this special program, like sex espionage, we call it right now. But the first thing, everybody has to be about like 5-6 feet tall. Second, they would run us through the intellectual, like sort of like IQ test. Then psychology. So we spoke with the psychologist. So we had to be mentally strong and prepared. What if something happens? Like, are we strong enough to be in unpredictable, difficult, like extreme situations? We were checked by gynecologist in order like to see like, are we like, healthy? And then if you tick all the boxes, then you go to this program.
What did they tell you that program was?
They didn't say anything. Like, they didn't say, oh, it's a honey
special
trap or whatever. They said, like, it's a special program. You will be learning special techniques which you're not allowed to share with anyone. Everything in this, walls staying here. That's it. So just a few of you, because you're chosen. They don't call you swallows or sparrows or like spies. They don't call that, but they say like, this is a special subjects for you to learn, so it will be helpful for your future missions. That's it.
Wow. Interesting.
I do believe that, to be honest, I do believe that every single military academy or any educational center potential, not like, but I do believe that they have that sort of programs. Like they just they scout these future agents for this sort of missions. So they scout them through students in a good universities, or maybe somebody who already established. Like, there's so many examples of the sex espionage from like, actresses and famous singers and famous beautiful women.
Do you have some examples?
I do have some examples which I definitely know. I cannot reveal their names because they're very public and you definitely know them. But they work with the Russian government, and at the same time they are very recognizable women in the public eye.
How do you know this?
Because I've seen them there. I know, but like I would never, I would never let down they cover. I would never do that. Because like, it's, some people ask me like, oh, why don't you say no? But like, guys, I just want to explain how does it work? It's not like you willingly want to do it. Sometimes you are put into these situations where, this, let's say government people would tell you, if you will not do this task, if you will not do this mission, then either your family will have some problems, or your kids, or your beloved ones, they may be having a car accident, or they may go to jail. So you feel like, I'd rather sacrifice myself than put on risk my family. So these people, which I just mentioned without names, I know they're doing this not willingly. They have to do it because of their family living in Russia.
Where's your citizenship?
Great. So that's also like, I have to be also very careful with what I'm saying. And it's a big risk for me also to, it's a few things I will explain now. So my citizenship still Russian. Thank God and thank to America. And God bless America. I received my green card. For about 15 years, I lived in Europe. After last Russian mission, I lived in Europe. I lived in Switzerland, Greece, Italy, France, England, in London 6 years. So check
All
this
those
out.
places.
Yes. So check this out. The moment the government, the UK government, probably find out about my background, the moment when I was invited to the Buckingham Palace where I met King Charles and Queen Elizabeth, that time he was prince, literally in a few months, my lawyer received a letter stating that I have to leave the UK, like during 2 weeks period of time. So I was literally deported from the UK, still having my residency there. So I couldn't go back to Russia because of so many reasons. The only one visa I had that time was United States. So I come to United States. I speak with many, many good lawyers, with a lot of lawyers, and they all advise me the same thing. They tell me that I should, because of United States, I should reveal my identity publicly. Because also that time, Ukrainian war starts straight after like COVID, right? So it was COVID, then this, crazy time, everything is closed and blocked and, it's a mess. Then Ukraine war. So I'm in this situation. And my lawyer said, well, you have to reveal your identity, just, not to be deported like it was in 2010, I believe, when 10 active agents from Russia were deported, including Anna Chapman. So if you don't want to be deported, if you want to be legal in America, it's better for you, for your insurance, for your protection, to reveal your identity publicly. This is number one. Number two, I also had to cut tails coming from Russia because, I know it sounds like crazy maybe, but one Russian girl was sent to me from Moscow when Ukrainian war started and everything to convince me to go back to Russia and, or if I don't want to go, trying to convince me to work with them again. Then I have received a former colleague call just before the Ukrainian war started, asking the same thing, not asking, but kind of you should consider, working with the government, with the Russian government. And then it was another call from more like government sort of person with the same request. So I honestly will tell you this. I want to leave without fear because I'm exhausted to live for so many years, hiding myself, hiding my son, moving from one country to another. I am exhausted, physically, mentally, morally, everything. I'm so done. I don't want to play all these games anymore. I want to do fashion things like I always wanted and I always dream. And finally, I'm doing this for myself, for my son as well. So I don't want to be attached. I don't want to be connected. I don't want to do anything with this, government stuff anymore. And I decided to go public to kind of reveal my identity. Yet Alia Rosa is not my real ID name, obviously, because of, again, the security reasons. But at least these calls and this request from Russian government people have stopped since I started to go public. At least I have received my freedom to live in United States sort of freely without being there and here. I'm so done with that. And I don't want to do this. And I don't want to be used anymore. I don't want to be manipulated anymore. Even though I do have fears for my members of the family who are there. And of course, I have fears for my son's future. Yes, I understand it's a big risk. But they say you choose less evil when it's too evil. So I'd rather reveal my identity and tell the truth here in America to American people rather than work for the Russian government and being again like this. And God knows what would happen with me after. And my son, like, especially like during the Ukrainian war, and it's still on and it's super crazy and it's just such a mess.
Where is your son?
My son is always with me, like everywhere. He's a traveler like me. He's at home.
Okay.
I mean, he goes to the school, but he's at home.
How did they contact you to try to get you to come back?
All the apps like WhatsApp. They didn't have my American telephone, but I have a very old WhatsApp because I didn't change it. I kept the number. So WhatsApp. Emails I changed.
What do they say?
Well, the main request is live here, but report us everything you see and everything you know. Go to Washington, live in Washington, or at least New York, and try to establish this relationship with politicians, ministers, and so on. That's why I honestly stay away from Washington as further as I can. That's why I kind of like chose to be in LA, because Los Angeles is entertainment, Hollywood. It's all like movies, scripted, fashion especially. It's all blah, 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 social media, influencing and all that. So I'm trying to stay away as far as I can from politics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good thinking.
I mean, what can I do? I try to do my best in this, like I balance.
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll get into some of your missions.
Okay.
Sound good?
Yeah.
When your metabolism is working right, you feel it in everything. Energy, sleep, workouts, appetite. Lumen is the tool that finally lets me see what mine is actually doing instead of guessing. It's the first handheld metabolic coach. You just breathe into it, and it tells you if you're burning fat or carbs. Then, the app gives you a daily plan based on your results. I use it in the morning and sometimes before or after meals or workouts. And it's wild how quickly it shows what's going on in real time. Because metabolism drives so much, weight management, energy, recovery, it's been incredibly helpful to have clear guidance instead of trial and error. Winter is the perfect season to build strength from within. Stay energized, stay resilient, and take charge of your metabolism. Go to lumen.me/SRS to get an additional 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/SRS for 15% off on top of any offers or sales running on their website. All right, Aaliyah, we're back from the break, and so we're getting ready to get into what happens once you get in the unit. So we kind of went through your training, your schooling, and all that kind of stuff, and so what is it like when you actually check into the unit as a trained operative?
Well,
what is the unit called?
So the unit, so I was in 2 units.
Okay.
In Russia. So one unit precisely would be called Operative Investigation Department. I don't know what's the similarity in the US.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, it's sort of like DEA.
Okay.
So it's a Drug Enforcement Department.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So it's the first one, I don't know what's the...
Probably like the FBI. Sounds like an investigative unit.
It is investigation, but it was locally in the city or sometimes in the country, but also internationally. For example, when we were working on the cases on, with two countries between Afghanistan and Russia. So, for example, this was international. Or by that time when I was already working, it was Russia separated from all these post-Soviet countries.
Gotcha.
So again, it was international. But there are so many left connections with that countries, and so much crime was going on between these countries. So, and then again, don't forget, it was Perestroika revolution. Then after, it was the time when all this criminal world just blossomed at some point because there were no very strong political
repercussions.
Right. So there were so many criminals, let's say, that time who were privatizing the Russian assets for a very small amount of money, like let's say $50 for a factory or $50 for a huge piece of land. And eventually, after some time, when Vladimir Putin became the president, those criminals would legalize the businesses and would become oligarchs, right? So some oligarchs would be quite friendly working with Vladimir Putin. I will not get into these details because you can read the book, which was written by so many former agents, including Litvinenko. And some of them would disappear forever, killed or just flee the country and hide themselves. So,
wow. So so sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. So if you went through the training
yeah.
at the schoolhouse. Now, was the training at the schoolhouse specifically for the operative investigations unit, or was it for the DEA one? Or is this kind of a they mold you and then whatever agency needs you picks you up?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct. Yes.
Okay.
So it was basically they teach you all this. Okay, so you have ordinary basic instructions and subjects you study, like gun shooting, martial arts, and laws. With these knowledges, you enter your department, and then you just have your mission and practice it. However, we received additional education for additional missions, which were classified. So they were not really open for any agents. Like some agents would be picked up for a particular mission.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. So this is a pipeline into the federal government. So here in the U.S., for example, if you're going to go to the NSA, you're going to go be trained by the NSA. If you're going to go CIA, you're going to be trained and go to the CIA schools. If you're going to go to the FBI, you're going to be trained by the FBI and go to the FBI schools. So in Russia, it's an intelligence school, and then whatever agency needs you will pick you up.
It is same as in the United States, right? However, these particular programs, which, I don't know how many in Russia are they, but that's what I studied. That was particular for your department, or perhaps another department would do a particular mission, and then they would require some female agents for these missions. So, for example, us as let's say DA agents, we would work together with some other agents from another departments because they would provide us some security, let's say, in transportation, or there would be SWAT agents, but it doesn't call SWAT, but I'm saying those with whom we would work in going to arrest those targets. So it's kind of mixed, sort of, but we would still, so if my commander would allocate me for another mission, I would need to go there to another department. That's actually how I moved from one department to another department, because they actually required me to come there.
Okay. So you are attached. Okay. You're on a special unit that's just farmed out to whoever is needing you at the time.
So, like Putin that time, in 2002, exactly the year I was working there, established FSKN. So FSKN, it was, you can also Google it and check it online. So FSKN, it was a special department, sort of DEA, but fighting against drug trafficking coming particularly from Afghanistan, because that time it was like a huge transportation. But then a few years later, Putin dissolved it. I don't know why, but just like basically restructured. And then this FSKN was under the FSB, which is the...
You mean in Russia, when a government agency does its job and doesn't need to do anything else, they just dissolve it and it goes away and then the funding gets reallocated to...
It was existing for 10 years approximately. I don't know why dissolve it. You see, I don't know this kind of things, but there was so many restructures since 1991. It was KGB, right? NKVD, KGB, etc. Then it was renamed to VNR, which is external investigation, right? And then FSB, which is local. So then under FSB, there would be different other departments, which were particularly doing some other missions or like some other jobs or like some other cases. But if there is a big case or mission going on, they would allocate particular agents for this mission. Doesn't matter from what department you are. Especially with females. There are not so many females agents working in the, in the departments, maybe like 10%. But as a bait, you need a female. They would invite you. And obviously, yeah.
So I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but so so your job is not to necessarily sleep with criminals and arrest them. It is a tool that they have taught you how to use.
I think I was a bait, basically. So let me just kind of like picture one of my missions, for example. So I come in the morning to the lineup meeting for the first, meeting with our commander in the department. So
this is your first mission?
No, not first mission. Like, let's say one of the missions. So we come to the department in the morning for the lineup meeting, right? They give you mission and they allocate particular agents for this mission. So you have this mission. Then you go with the head of this little team, of your team. You go and you brainstorm the strategy. How you're supposed to infiltrate certain group of criminals or whoever, like how to spy on them, how to get informers, how to send someone there, or how to recruit them. Mostly of them, of course, were men. Obviously, using me as a bait to get closer would be the perfect ideal scenario. We would go together, let's say with one or two my team member, spy on the mission. So we would literally sit down in the car, or we would be somewhere outside, not too close, so he wouldn't notice us. But we would in the beginning just see what's his inner circle, right? Do pictures, basically the whole thing, the whole spying. Then we would gather information about our target. And then we would install...
What kind of information?
Everything, like how many sugar does he put into his coffee? Everything from A to B, what time does he wake up? Where does he go? Whom does he meet? What do they do? What they talk about? Of course, you put all the bugs and everything as much as you can. You try to listen to what they're talking about. Basically everything.
How long would you do this for?
Depends from the target. So the last target, for example, we were establishing the social engineering for about 3 months before I actually was introduced to him.
Before you made an approach?
Before, yes, the first approach, it was 3 months of intense work, yes. But we had to create the whole setup for him. So, for example, I mean, it sounds like a movie plot, but it's kind of cool. What secret intelligence can do, actually, or like anyone can do. Do you remember the movie? Have you seen the movie The Game with Michael Douglas?
No.
It's an old movie. Another movie also, which is closest, so it's easy to explain, Focus with Margot Robbie and Will Smith.
What's it called?
Focus.
I don't think I've
No?
seen that
Okay. So, I mean, if your guys, like your audience, know this movie, they will like understand, or they can go and watch this movie. So basically, how does it work? So my target, let's say, let's go to Vladimir target. So what we needed to, find out about him. First of all, what are his weaknesses? What his needs, what his desires, apart from like being the leader of the criminal group, having power, money, and blah, blah, blah. What is his personality about? What is he seeking for? What is his goal? What's his psychological portrait? So we would go back to his childhood when he was a teenager. We find out that he was in love. He had a relationship with his sweetheart, a girl from Uzbekistan, which is
How are you finding this information out? Is this
easy.
social
You just
media?
go. No. That time, social media didn't really exist. It was 2004. So
Okay.
we hardly had No, we didn't have smartphones. I remember I had Motorola, like that little telephone. So how you it's actually really easy. You just basically find out what school did he study. And then you just pretend that you're one of the relatives, like trying to find him or whatever. You just like get information from this old-ish ladies working there, let's say former teachers, and just like get information. It's quite easy. If you go and ask people about someone, I still do that when I need to find out information about someone. I just go and speak with people. What do you think about this person? Do you know him? How do you know him? Like, did you
Would
do
it have
anything?
bothered you if any of those people reached out to the target and said, "Hey, this girl Aaliyah, she's running around here. She's
Well, first
asking
of all,
a
you
lot of
don't say your
questions."
name. Second, it wouldn't be me if I was the main bait, if I was the main, face in this mission, it wouldn't be me. It actually was my colleague who was young guy. Oh, I lost my army friend. I don't live here. I just want to find out where is he, where does he live, like what's happening with him. We lost each other for so many years. I want to see him. We've been through the whole army time, blah blah blah. And you bring some chocolates or some cake to this old teacher from the school. Of course, she would tell you everything. Let's drink tea. Let's speak about that time, blah blah blah. So we find out that this target, Vladimir, had relationship with his sweetheart, that girl from Uzbekistan, apparently. But she didn't wait for him because, as you know, in Russia, it's compulsory. Every male have to go to the army for 2 years from 18 years old. So he went to the army, but she didn't wait for him. She got married. So when he came back, she already married to another guy. So he was sort of heartbroken. So he sort of gave up on this dream to have a loving wife and potentially a family with her. And he kind of became this rough, sort of aggressive guy who would just use women for sex and just be very, not sort of alpha male, but just having these women for a pleasure, nothing serious, no attachment, no emotional attachment, because he was hurt before. But somewhere deep inside, every human being wants to believe that there is a possibility in mutual love, that every human being wants to be loved. Not because of something, but just literally to be loved by who he is. So what we did when we gathered all the information, very slowly, very, very subtly, wherever this target was, walking out from the gym, going into the restaurant, or like walking in the street or wherever, we would place a few separate couples. One couple, young, nice-looking guy, sort of looking like Vladimir, tall, it's all Russians, more or less, like, tall, blue eyes, good-looking, like, wearing military uniform, same as, like, say, Vladimir would wear many years ago when he was in the army, together, holding hand with the girl, more or less looking like his sweetheart from the past. So they would be just like, walking around, kissing each other, da-da-da. Even though Vladimir wouldn't look precisely at this couple, but peripheral vision, his backside vision would register that. So your brain register everything what's going on around you, even though you don't notice, but your brain does. So this is very subtle installation and manipulation, and basically when you plant something into someone's head. Then another day, another story, another place. Again, another couple. Another guy would wear the military uniform with another girl, but same sort of looking like his sweetheart. She would be pregnant. So they would hold hands, kissing each other, blah, 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 like, like love is in the air. Then again, another day, another setup, another place. There would be similar guy, but another one, wearing the uniform with another girl, but looking like his first sweetheart. They would they would have like a carriage with the little baby, with the newborn baby. And again, same story, like love is in the air, they kiss each other, holding hands, and like, happy family. Again, Vladimir wouldn't look at them like, oh, like whatever, but his brain would register that. And when the time was right, when my colleague, that time who was already undercover, so he pretended to be one of the drug dealers. So he would basically get the drugs from the Vladimir's criminal gang, distribute it, bring the money, right? And then he would get to know Vladimir, he would establish trust with him, and he would slowly introduce him to sort of like these easygoing girls in the club. Not prostitutes particular, but kind of like, oh, she's a student, she's lonely, she's like, this and this, and like, you're such a powerful guy, maybe like you can hang out with her, like this sort of thing, like club girls. So he would introduce him to some girls, but less good looking, because we would know more or less his style, like Vladimir's taste. And by that time, I already had a sort of like image of his sweetheart, like
Dream girl.
style. Yes, like what did she wear before? So she was wearing particular like white socks and short skirts and like braids and all that. So when I would meet him, I would do exactly the same look, appearance. So when my colleague introduced me to Vladimir, it was already like, in his brain would be like, what if she looks exactly like that, girl? What if there is a possibility I may be loved by her really and she would stay loyal to me? What if I may have a chance with her and have a family with her? What if? Instead of just like, hi, my name is so-so, let's go to the room. Everything has to be very subtle, like a little game. And you don't even understand that you are in the game, but you still, it's a beautiful setup. It takes time, but anyone can be influenced.
Can we talk about your first mission?
Yes.
Do you remember it?
Yes.
What was it?
So it was one of the kind of like foreign, but not too. So it's basically post-Soviet country government person who had some information. And so the first mission were actually, so I was sharing this in the podcast. So I had to place an envelope without him knowing who exactly placed it. He would have some ideas or doubts or whatever, but he that time should know that it was particularly me placing the envelope. So I literally had to pretend that I was a prostitute in the bar in the hotel where he was staying that time. And I had to seduce him, get into the room. And
How
when
did
he
you
was,
seduce him?
How? Should I recreate the whole scene? Oh, God.
What was in the envelope?
I could not open. And okay, so it was filled, right? It was, how do you call it in English? Like filled?
Yeah, filled.
So
Sealed.
Sealed, yes. It was something like that. So the envelope was sealed. I couldn't open it. And yet, if I would open it and know it, I wouldn't be able to share it. Just for my own like security for my life. So so I had to give him the envelope. The only one way how I could place it was in the private place. So obviously it has to be in his room where nobody would distract him or wherever. So I wouldn't be able to do it, let's say in the bar or wherever, because like, again, many people, many eyes and all this. So how did I seduce him? Very simple.
Because he had never seen you before. And so you're showing up undercover with the cover of a prostitute.
Okay.
How many women are in the bar?
Not so many. We all do understand when man comes to the bar with friends or alone to have a drink, most likely he's open for a conversation with a beautiful female. Right? Otherwise, if you don't want to, you wouldn't come, right? If you're tired or wherever, you go sleep to your room. So you obviously want some adventures. 2, when the mission is like that, when you don't need to establish trust, when you don't need to establish love, long-term relationship, one night stand, it's very easy to organize from a woman perspective. Show me any man who would say no to one night stand. Any. Nobody would say no. I mean, unless it's a very ugly person, but we're talking about, spies, agents. So they're supposed to take care about themselves and look presentable. So, number 3, he was there for a few days. I already knew, I was given information that he was recently married and recently had a newborn. Obviously, a man who just have a little baby at home. It's a big work. You know how it is. Those who have kids understand. So the wife is busy with the kid. The little kid is crying. It's not the same like it was before. So for him, it was easier to just have some sort of adventures and relaxed time for himself because he's on the business meeting. But at the same time, why not to have some romantic emotions just for one night? Who would know? No one, right? So that's why it's an easy target.
What about the other women at the bar?
That time,
how do you know that you're going to be the one that walks out of that bar with them?
Yeah. So first of all, there were not so many. I think as much as I remember, there were a couple of women. Second, I was the most beautiful. First of all, I was already skilled. Second, obviously that time I was the youngest one. And third, I was wearing the most revealing clothes I could possibly wear.
So how did you approach him?
Very easy. About the drink, it's like one of the common thing you actually can approach any man if you want to meet someone. You start with from the drink. What are you drinking? Like, what would you recommend to drink here? Like, how often do you come here? Like, do you like this bar? There's so many questions you can ask. So many, and you can from one. Oh, you're not here. Like, oh, it's your first time here. Oh, like. Aren't you from here? Like, where are you traveling from? Like, where do you live? La la la. And then you go on and like you start the whole conversation. And then it's easy, haha, he he. Like, yeah, why don't we go? Like, and then after a couple drinks, it's easy to say yes to a pretty girl. And like, and then you always can find an excuse. Oh, I really want to go to the toilet, but like, like I need to do it in private. Can I go to your room? Oh, I need to change something. Oh, like, oh, you can spill something on yourself and say like, oh my God, my dress is dirty. Can I please like go and wash my dress in your room? Or, there's so many things you can get into the room of the man if you really need.
So you get him in the room.
Yes.
When do you find the time?
Okay, so
Get the envelope
when
wherever
he
it needs
was
to go.
in the toilet, when he was in the shower, that's it. So the suitcase that time, I mean, now probably it would be much harder, but that time suitcases were not with the like special lockers or whatever. So it was quite easy to open it, place it. It was just like little clickers. Click, open, put the envelope, through all these papers, and then close it, and that's it. Voila, you didn't do anything.
Did you sleep with him?
With him, actually, I didn't.
You didn't.
No, I didn't because it was my first mission. I was scared and I didn't want to, I don't know, like, it's just like, I wasn't ready, okay? I wasn't ready and I just, and he was sort of like gross to me. I didn't want to. He was overweight as well, so it's just like, so I sort of like manipulated him on his family. So he physically couldn't get hard, sorry to say. He maybe wanted to, but he couldn't because I constantly was talking about his wife and his kid particular. Because his kid was a newborn baby girl. And of course, he loves her. Of course, like it's his first experience. And when you mix together kids feeling together with the sexual desire and all that, the sexual desire would be kind of like, it won't work that much if you wouldn't talk about kids. It's sort of like bringing kid into the sexual conversation. So we had a really nice conversation, though. He was a really nice guy. He even gave me some money, some cash. So I made a profit.
It's generally how it works with prostitution. so I'm told.
But at least I didn't, at least I didn't compromise my cover. So maybe when he find out this envelope, he wouldn't even think about me. I don't know. So we had a really nice conversation, though. And as much as I remember, he was a really nice and kind guy. And we were constantly talking about his family. And then in the end, he said, actually, we didn't have a lot of time, which was good. We only had like about maybe like 40 minutes or an hour because he had to like wake up for like meeting or whatever early. And he told me like, I don't have a lot of time. So I was like pushing into conversation. And then he said, thank you so much for this conversation. It was so important. Like I wanted to speak out with someone, but I can't, right? Because I couldn't tell these things to my wife or like, to anyone. So it was so nice to speak with you because I was a random person and he would share with me all his thoughts. See, also vulnerability.
What were you targeting him for?
For giving this envelope. That's it. That was only my task.
Dude, you don't know why? Was he a criminal? Was he a trafficker?
No, he wasn't a criminal. It was, so I was in the academy at that time. It was my first task from my teacher. I don't know. So I don't know exactly why she sent me there. I would think she sent me there to make me fail because that time she had relationship with the colonel. And it was a love triangle, sort of. It was never love for me. But the colonel, when he sexually raped me. And the first one who said, like, when I entered his office, he said to me, do a blowjob. He was the one who actually, over time, fall in love and protected me from me having sex with the rest of teachers and actually with the rest of the whoever, like colleagues or whatever. So he was my shield that time, where I used him to protect me. But then things went wrong when he approached me with the engagement ring.
This is while you're in school or after school?
This is already after.
This is after school.
Yeah.
So the relationship with him continued.
So the relationship went on, yes. And so basically I share all the story into Difo, but like I'm just trying to make it short for your audience to understand. So
we don't need to make it short.
Oh, really? I mean, okay. Okay, so, but I'll try to make it short. I mean, it's 17 episodes. Like, I was talking for 20 hours. I don't think we have 20 hours here. Okay, so, so when he took advantage from me first, I decided that I'd rather use him as my shield because I didn't want to be used by other men in the academy, because I've seen and I've heard so many stories of my classmates. So I said, like, no way I'm doing that. So I was like, okay, because he has the highest rank, because he has the highest respect, and he is the boss, sort of, I decided that I will play along and I will learn all the seduction techniques and use the seduction techniques on him in order for him to sort of like fall in love, be more interested, but also protect me, because I knew that he
wants you wanted him to want you all to himself so that you didn't have to.
Correct.
Have
So
sex
he wouldn't
with
want to
everybody.
share me, my body, with anyone else. So I decided to play, these cards. And it did work because he also had other sexual relationship with other another students, and also with this female teacher who sent me to this first mission. And after some time, he established this trust because he told me he loved me, and he decided to get divorced and marry me, where it was not my plan. My plan was to have this cover of his name as much as I could in order not to be used by anyone else or not to be sent to really bad missions. Because what happened when I said no to his marriage, I literally didn't say no, but he understood that I wasn't really happy about that because, like, first of all, obviously I didn't love him. Second, he was my the first, abuser and manipulator. And 3, he was like 30 years older, married guy that time. So, like, what the heck, right? Yeah, okay, I had to play along because I didn't have any other choice. But going like this into serious relationship, imagine if I would be stuck with him for all these years. I mean, it would be terrible. So he understood my answer was negative. I didn't really say like no. What he did, he sends me to another department, to his sort of friend. Just like to say it before, he actually tried to pass me to his friend in order to have a revenge. So that man, my future commander, actually was the one who was very corrupted. And knowing all this situation with Vladimir, he still did it. He sent me over there knowing that eventually he would give up my name, because he actually was already working with Vladimir's colleague and army friend, who was the one who was bringing, he had all connections because of the Afghanistan war and all that. He was fighting there before. So he had all the connections. He was the one who would bring all the heroin to Russia through the Vladimir's gang and then distributed to Russia and Europe. So that commander actually wanted to rid of Vladimir because Vladimir eventually wanted to legalize himself. He wanted to become a businessman. He wanted to get rid of the drug business because he had money enough, he had power enough. So he wanted to do more like legalized business and become sort of like oligarch. Whereas that commander, he still wanted some black cash, some corruption, like, bribery money. Not through Vladimir, because he doesn't want it. So he decided to remove or like get rid of or terminate or wherever Vladimir in order to place this guy, his protege, who was bringing drugs from Afghanistan, to his position and and make him a new drug lord, the leader of the criminal gang. So in any way, it was a setup for me. If you look like through like my eyes, like onto my story, my commander didn't really care about that. Like I would be killed, I wouldn't be killed, I would survive, or something may happen with me. It doesn't matter. Because it still was a setup, and it was a successful setup. Because eventually when Vladimir found out that I was a mole and all that, yes, he saved me. Yes, he sacrificed his life. But eventually, the commander won. He placed this guy into Vladimir's position, and they were continuing going on. Eventually, after certain years, I find out in the news that this commander got caught and he went to jail. So eventually, the justice, thank God,
Caught up with him.
yes, eventually. But it took years.
How long was Vladimir a target of yours?
About 8 months
8 months?
of the relationship, yeah.
Is this who you fell in love with?
You see, press. They all say I fell in love with.
You didn't fall in love.
Honestly, like Sean, like I even doubt I have ever been in love. To be honest, like I don't know if I can actually experience this feeling to a man. Unfortunately, I don't think I can, because like I'm looking at myself like over these years. I'm like, this one was target. This one was target. I had to do this. I had to do this. Like, have I ever choose any man just for myself?
There's always an ulterior motive.
Well, now when I'm out of, I'm in America right now, yes, so I'm out of all these missions and whatever. I'm by myself all these years. I don't know what is it. Maybe it's my problem with trust. Maybe I have trust issues. Maybe because I find men when I meet them quite boring. I mean, like, they're really nice men, and there's so many amazing men, and I just don't know. It's just it doesn't work for me, or maybe I haven't met the right man who would understand my vision and the way I think and what I understand. Because more or less, especially in America, and that's why I do understand why all this kind and quite naive tech CEO and executive in Silicon Valley are so easily targeted by female spies, because they're just very sweet and very nice, and they are really naive. And that's true, but when you're naive at the same time, you kind of like, for me, it's not a challenge. It's not I want like brain stimulation, apart from just like physical activities. You want to speak with the person about something, right? And when I don't have to speak about or like share my vision or like my thoughts, like I don't find it interesting. And then, like the poet said, Amar Khayyam said, it's better to be by yourself rather than with anyone else. So I decided for now to just focus on my work and do my best, and then we'll see.
My days don't slow down. Between work, the gym, and time with the kids, I need eyewear that can keep up with everything I've got going on. And that's why I trust Roka. I've tried plenty of shades before, but these stand out. They're built for performance without sacrificing style. I've put them through it all, on the range, out on the water, and off-road. They don't quit. They're lightweight, stay locked in place, and are tough enough to handle whatever I throw at them. And the best part? They don't just perform, they look incredible. Sleek, modern, and designed for people who expect more from their eyewear. No fluff, no gimmicks, just premium frames that deliver every single time. And that's why Roka is what I grab when I'm heading out the door. Born in Austin, Texas, they're American designed with zero shortcuts. Razor sharp optics, no glare, and all-day comfort that doesn't quit. And if you need prescription lenses, they've got you covered with both sunglasses and eyeglasses. One brand, all your bases. Roka isn't just eyewear, it's confidence you can wear every day. They're the real deal. Ready to upgrade your eyewear? Check them out for yourself at Roka.com and use code SRS for 20% off site-wide at checkout. That's ROKA.com. Do you enjoy sex now?
Yeah, of course I do.
You do. So then you
Listen, I was
do enjoy
trained.
being with a man.
Every single time I have sex, I have intercourse, I receive my orgasm.
You do.
Always. Every single time. I will explain why. This is also part of the program, of the training. So, as you know, I studied in Kinsey Institute. That's where I find out that 80% of females in the world actually do not experience orgasm with their partners during intercourse, which means that they don't know their body. And I have a lot of female students, they all come and they say the same. Like, I'm not happy in my marriage, like wherever, I don't experience orgasm, I have to pretend. So that's what's happening. When female pretending that she has an orgasm, obviously man, if he's not that stupid or dumb, he can feel it and he can see that. He may not say or whatever, but over time, that would be a problem between the couple, right? So what we've been taught, I hope some female audience understand me, but female orgasm is a female responsibility. No man know your body or what you really like. You have to know your body yourself. You have to know what do you like, what's your erogenous like zones, what gives you pleasure, where are you like this erogenous like sensual spots and everything. So, and then when you study your body, you know what do you like, you show it to your partner and you tell him, I like this, I like that, let's try this, let's try that. So together you have this amazing journey to experience, you know, female pleasure and hence for male pleasure, because it's the highest pleasure for a man to give an organ to a woman. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
So in our program, obviously, when we came, I was virgin. I didn't have any like understanding what is sex. So we've studied, actually, I give you one crazy technique, but please don't judge me. So we've studied this. One of the effective technique for self-confidence esteem, to believe in yourself and look at yourself as you are the most beautiful for yourself, of course. Like, you're the most beautiful, you're the goddess, you believe in yourself, you are the best. And accept your body. Because, you know, we're all human beings. We don't like this, we don't like that, or like here we have overweight, here we have cellulite or whatever. This is normal. But we need to program our brain only on positive, beautiful features of our bodies and face. So what do we do as a females? Maybe it can work for men too, I don't know. So you need to stand in front of the big mirror so you can see yourself fully. Ideally, you would need to, you know, make yourself comfortable. So maybe play some nice music, put like scented candle. Maybe you should dance or wherever. Maybe have a bath like just please yourself in terms of like make yourself comfortable. So nobody also should disturb you and distract you. Then, depends. You can use sex toys, you can use your fingers, whatever is comfortable. You start to please yourself. And the moment you bring yourself to this peak of the orgasm, you need to anchor your brain. So basically program your brain. What do? You look into your mirror, and that's very important. Like you're naked or you're not naked, doesn't matter. So you basically experience the highest peak of the orgasm, right? That moment. So that moment is the most effective. You should, first of all, anchor yourself on the word. Choose one word, maybe two, but something short. For example, I'm the queen, I'm the best. Or like you can say like you are the best, whatever. Or you can say even mango, whatever. Like choose your word and say it out loud. So your brain remembers that. Then if you wanted to make it more effective, touch your, like find a spot on your body and touch it. So it could be anything. For example, it could be like a little finger on your right hand. It could be like, shoulder, neck like this, or maybe like hair, whatever you choose, find a physical anchor on your body. So this is another anchor. Plus, if you want a particular man and you want to seduce him, and you know exactly that this is your, let's say, target, ideally, you should place his photo on that mirror, on the wall, wherever, like so you can see him. And when you experience an orgasm, you look at this image, and better to say his name, this word. So you kind of like create this bridge between this image and your brain. So what will happen when you will see next time this target, your brain will automatically release endorphin hormones and pheromones. Pheromones is the scent which everybody can create. Plus, of course, you can use a special perfume, which actually like KGB used to have this special ingredients in the perfume, which contains like some like grass and all that, which actually attracts attention. So your brain instantly creates this impulses in your body. So your cheeks are blushing, your eyes are sparkling. So you kind of like getting into the mood of pre-orgasmic mood. So your target, this guy, obviously he sees that, he noticed that. I mean, isn't it amazing? You see like a woman who's like looking at you like with this, I want you on right now here, So, but this is like for seducing a mission, the target. So, but when you do it for yourself, anchoring yourself, and you do it a few times, the moment you feel anxiety, the moment you feel shy, or the moment you feel like uncertain or like in doubts, or you're stressed, you touch yourself into this anchor where you placed on your body, and you tell yourself the same anchor word, I'm the best. Again, same story, the brain will create this pheromone impulses, this endorphin hormones, the happiness hormones, this state of confidence and the state of bliss that you are the best. And you walk into the room with this, random people, or you walk wherever you go, like be pitching for the new business or wherever, or like for a date. And you have already this posture, you have already this presence, you have these vibrations, this aura, and this energy. Try it. It does work to me. So about orgasms, the sex, yes. So with this technique, since I learned this technique, every single time and every single my ex sex partners I had intercourse with, I have experienced orgasms. So it's not really about the man, dear ladies. It's about your own body and awareness of your own body and knowing how to give yourself pleasure. It's not about even the size or like even techniques, like the movement of the man, of your partner. No, it's all about your body. If you're comfortable with your body, if you know your body, you will adapt yourself towards these movements, like the angle of your body, the angle of your hips, or maybe positions. Everybody's body is different and unique, but all of us, we have our like own sensible spots in the body, so we can adjust our body towards our partner's body, and it will be much easier rather than blame your partner and tell like you are bad in sex.
Interesting. So you're attracted to men and you can receive pleasure from men, but
mentally,
you have no emotional attachment to men.
Mentally, I'm not attracted. Oh my God. Yeah, I think so. No, don't get me wrong. I really want to fall in love. I want to experience that.
You don't find men attractive?
I don't. So I find them attractive physically. But when I start to speak with them, I'm bored, if it does make sense. I'm sorry. Does it make sense? Like, I've seen so much and I've been through so much that sometimes when I hear them, I'm like, oh my God. It's like speaking with my son, like teenager sort of thing, And I try like 60 years old and I try even 70 years old, same story. It's not about the age, believe me. It's about experience. It's really about experience. Funny enough, just recently I was at the conference and I cannot say his name, obviously, because he has a quite high position, but he's the one who is investigating espionage. So obviously we like have a lot of things to discuss. And funny enough, I caught myself on that. I am mentally stimulated by man. Finally. So I find him attractive because of his brain, where I probably wouldn't find him attractive with his physical appearance. But in my case, again, as a former agent trained in this field, it doesn't matter how the man looks like to me particularly. Like, I don't really care what's his physical appearance and what's the size of his whatever, like seriously. So it's all about like, now at this point, I'm all about like mental stimulation. Does it make sense?
Makes perfect sense. Makes perfect sense. So let's go back to Vladimir. So we kind of went through how you targeted him, I believe. And then we talked about your first mission where you seduced a man. It's a one night stand and you're out. How are you I have a lot of questions. Have you ever worked multiple targets at the same time?
Well,
have you ever had two missions or worked two different assets at the same time?
No.
It's always been one at a time?
I mean, I don't even understand how, like, if you're a double agent, maybe you can do
Well,
that.
a double agent would be, a Russian working for the Russians and also for
and
the
at the
US.
same time giving the information to like CIA, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically what I'm saying is if you have two operations going on at the same time, maybe you're targeting Vladimir, who is a drug dealer, and then you have, I don't know, Benjamin over here and he's a sex trafficker. Are you ever working two different? Do you see what I'm saying? Are you ever
just thinking
simultaneously
that would be a great plot for the movie. We need to write a book about it.
So no.
Seriously. No.
Okay.
No.
So it's single
Actually,
mission
that would be
focused.
really hard to do. I mean, like you would have to have a lot of like knowledgeable people around you, like your team members, and that would be really hard. In the end, with Vladimir mission, when my colleague was killed.
Hold on, we didn't.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I don't even know any of this.
Sorry.
Yet. So with Vladimir, How long were you? How long was he a target?
So for 8
8
months,
months, you said.
yes,
And how long?
relationship,
Okay.
like proper, loving, dating relationship.
Okay. So what is daily life like? Are you 100%? I mean, is he? Because there's no on and off time if you're a true operative. You're with them all the time,
Right.
correct?
Exactly.
Is that
Yes.
how it works over there?
Yes. But I pretended that I studied in the university. So when I would sort of go to my lessons, I would meet with one of my team member and pass him the whole information. So the next day, whatever it is, they would send this sort of SWAT team and arrest, criminals distributing, heroin.
So you're able to
I was.
pass on intelligence damn near every single day.
Not every single day. Like they were not selling like big quantity of heroin every single day, but like once a week, once in 2 weeks, there would be some activities going on. So I would hear the information from Vladimir because yes, I would sleep with him, I would eat with him, I would even cook for him and for his brothers. That's the way they call each other. Like, criminals, colleagues, they would call each other brothers. So I would cook for brothers, basically get like listen, who's saying what, getting into these events, like, they would go to clubs almost every day. So just hanging out with them, like picking up everything, like also establishing relationship with their girlfriends. They all had like, females, like girlfriends, so like somebody they spend time. So also like hanging out with them, finding out like, oh, where was Alex yesterday? Like, I didn't see him in the club. Oh, he was at this, like, oh, I don't know. But, like, I heard he was speaking on the phone about, like, he went there and here they were, like, doing something. And then, like, this happened. So, these kind of things,
So 8 months. So how did he get killed?
Oh,
And this
it's
was
a long story. Yes.
this is heroin coming out of Afghanistan. Is there any human trafficking?
Yes. But particular Vladimir was not, I mean, his gang was involved into this business because, of course, you know that drug and human trafficking are very connected. But Vladimir particular, he was not, so as I said, he wanted to legalize himself. So he was not the one who was giving the decisions about human trafficking yet. When I told him, when I sort of like confront him a little bit about that, I'm like, have you like seen this? Do you know this? Or like, do you know how many like girls were kidnapped and all this? I don't know, maybe he lied to me or whatever, but as much as I could read him that time, he didn't know. So I suppose, because it's a criminal gang, of course, there are a lot of members, and every single team of the gang would bring money for Upshak. You know, Upshak, it's like money for, it's kind of like donations from each member or wherever. Like, so for example, you do the criminal activity, you get money, so you give 10% to each, let's say, member, and then you have money allocated for the sort of bank. So it's bank of the criminal gang. It calls Upshak.
Gotcha.
So every single criminal, whatever team, when they would do some activities, they would bring money to Upshak, to the bank. And sometimes they probably wouldn't tell where this money comes from selling drugs, guns, humans. But it's still the same. Because again, who is covering them? The whole activity? The government.
Wow. Were you ever in a situation where you thought you were compromised?
Yes, in the end. In the end, where I understood that I was just a bait, that my commander used me just to get rid of Vladimir in any way. Like, it didn't really matter how he would rid of him, like this way, another way, it doesn't matter. I mean, it didn't matter to him. But he was the one who actually gave up my name to criminal brothers, to criminal group. And Vladimir that time, he didn't know. So he found out this from his criminal brother. When they called, like when he called me, I didn't pick up the phone. Like I told you, like it's, today it reminded me a little bit this PTSD. So the criminal gang were giving this information that I'm the mole from my own commander, from that commander who wanted to exchange Vladimir to his protege. As always, the driver, this sort of security driver guy of Vladimir, would wait for me downstairs to pick me up for a dinner. That was our normal routine. So I would go home, change, do my homework from the university, and then coming downstairs for a dinner to have like dinner with Vladimir and then go and sleep with him in his house. As always, I come downstairs, but instead of only one driver, they're like car full of guys who called me sister, and they put the bag into my hat. They, beat me like in the car. Then we come to the forest. Before that, when I told you, like they took my bag with the, my bag with Motorola. So I couldn't receive any call. I mean, like I couldn't pick up the phone when Vladimir was calling and everything. So the time they brought me to the forest, this commander protege was the one who orchestrated the whole thing, showing to criminals, look, she is the mole. Vladimir suck because he fell in love into the mole. He cannot be the leader because he's stupid, because he was trapped by this bitch. And I will show you how we should do revenge on these moles, on these rats. They would call these agents who would be undercover rats. Here in English, they call it mole, but in Russia, they call it rats. So she's a rat. And I will show you in front of you guys how we should do a revenge. So first of all, he raped me in front of everybody on the land, on the soil.
God.
And then that was not the worst. So when they were beating me up, so then I had to do some...
How many of them?
About 10 people, because it was like 2 cars. I was in one car, there was another car. They beat the shit out of me that I had to restore my bone over here. I still have a scar, that's why I'm kind of like covering it and all that. Vladimir that time was expecting me for a dinner, as always. They didn't tell him yet. So he was calling me, and then I didn't pick up the phone. So he started to call to the driver. Then this guy who just raped me told him that, oh, she is a rat, she's a mole. So we're fucking killing her right now. Like literally, we are in our spot, which is the forest, who knows where. Then what they do, they basically dig in the hole, put you in the hole and like finito, and then nobody will ever find you. So Vladimir gave him order to bring me to him and they didn't want to, but Vladimir said, like, I will finish her. Let me, as a leader, let me kill her because this is my responsibility. I need to do it. Eventually they were like, okay, so he wants to finish her. All right, let's do it. So the time they brought me to Vladimir, to his house, I was all bleeding. I was all fucked up. And, sorry, so difficult to remember this thing. I'm so sorry.
Are you okay?
Yes, it's just getting back there. It's really hard. Like so I try not to. Sorry, I apologize.
It's okay.
So anyway, Vladimir listened to whole my story. I think he maybe I want to kind of like romanticize him or whatever, but I think that time I I think that he understood where I'm coming from, that everything I was doing, I wasn't doing this willingly or because I wanted to, because I had to. So I told him the whole story with the colonel and how I entered the military academy and everything and how I ended up there. So he gave me some also information he knew about his friend, the army friend. And then it's sort of like we had like all these puzzles, we put it together, like all these, little details, we put it into one big picture where we both, that time I didn't know, but we both understood that my commander just wanted to get rid of Vladimir in order to put this, his protege, his like Vladimir's friend, to just like get more money. So Vladimir created this plan, which I followed. So basically that night, so he didn't kill me, obviously. He knew, I think, that he would be killed, but I think and I told him, like, you're risking your life if you're staying here. Why don't you go with me? Because he gave me telephone numbers with all the foreign friends in Turkey and Greece. So that's actually how it, like, this contacts, these people, his former friends, helped me to move and actually, like, relocate myself there. I asked him, why don't you go with me? I don't know, was it love from my side? I don't know. But I asked him, why don't you want to go with me? He said that he cannot leave everything he created. All these people who relied on him, all these people he have been trained and raised. He would take all this, underprivileged, underage kids, build gyms, like workout places where these homeless kids could come and have food and roof under they had. Because as I said, after like this revolution, after 1991, there were so many kids, like homeless kids. And they didn't have family because parents either like would, become drug addicts or alcoholic or die or whatever would happen. All these kids were all like on the streets. So these kids were sort of adopted by Vladimir, and he created all these gyms facilities for them where they can actually live. And after some time, maybe it was his purpose also to raise an army for himself for the future activities of his. Because after when they would grow up till late 18, sort of like 16, they would participate into his gang. Who knows? But at least he didn't let them to die. I don't know. So he said, I cannot leave them like this. I have to do something. I have to find another leader in order to, like, take care about this business, take care about them. And of course, I think he wanted to revenge with this corrupted commander of mine. So that night, he placed me into the car with the driver whom he knew, but he wasn't the criminal. He was his friend from the childhood, from like the school or whatever. He drove me to another city, to a safe house. And then literally after 2 months, Vladimir was killed by his own. I mean, they don't say who and how and all this, just shot. It's actually an article on internet, so people can look online and search and see it. So he been shot, and that's the end of the story. I mean, his story.
Were you sad?
You know what? I lost that time that night when I realized that my commander set me up because of whatever money, because of the money and power, because of the revenge, because of many things. Because I also said to him no when he wanted to fuck me. It was like male ego, revenge, money, corruption, and all this together. When I realized that, I lost, like hope and belief in any kind of like romanticized feeling of the patriotism that I sacrifice myself for the country, for people, to save them. And then like my job, myself being used for someone's purposes, for like just gaining money or wherever. And I'm just like a little tool, which is not that important. And you just like can, through like people like that. Because like, as I said, like one of my colleague was killed during this operation, and like nobody would care. I think I lost any belief or hope. I don't know. I just lost it.
Believe or hope in men, believe or hope in
No,
humanity.
I didn't lose the belief in human beings, of course. There's so many amazing people I met during like these years. As I said, like I don't have any negativity towards men, of course not. But I was raised in a with very patriotic feelings, like, your grandfather is a hero. Your father has all these medals. Like your father has such a name. It's it's amazing feeling when you go, and sometimes it's difficult to dangerous missions, but you feel like your job is so important, even though it's hidden for public, but your job is so important because this allow civilians, like normal people, sleep peacefully in their warm beds at night while you are during this night in the freezing cold air, like doing something or like, doing your job. And you like, you know what I'm saying? And even though it's like really hard and you haven't eaten, you haven't slept, you're exhausted physically, but the only one hope which actually keeps you like focused and keeps you like this, like positive, is because you know that
You believe in the mission.
you believe in the mission. You believe that you saving someone's life. It's the only one big belief. And this was betrayed by my own commanders, by my own government. Like, how could I live with that? It's life, I guess.
I mean, under completely different circumstances, there's a lot of veterans and former intelligence personnel that feel the exact same way about this country.
I can understand.
You did feel an emotional attachment to Vladimir, didn't you?
I felt that, one of my dreams actually is very connected to his. And I think he inspired me to do that. I see exactly myself in 5 years where I want to see myself, where I work for that, where like I see myself in 10 years, in 20 years, and I see myself when I will be like, before I will be dead, where I want to see myself. And I want to see myself ideally in the island with a big, big house where orphan kids from all around the world would live there and be raised there as a family, disregarding to the fact what nationality they are, what race they are, what background they are. Educate them and raise them as a sisterhood and brotherhood, and just give them this chance and possibility of having the roof and family. And I think this dream was inspired by Vladimir, because that's exactly what he was doing. Maybe I had attachment with him. I don't know. Maybe that's why I cannot have another
Attachment to
relationship.
anybody else?
Maybe. But look, from another hand, it's such a beautiful sacrifice, right, of man. He sacrificed his life for a female he loved. Beautiful. Very noble. Even though he was a criminal. But still, it's a beautiful, action for a woman, for love. I appreciate that, and I really respect. And I think that one of the reasons why I share this story is because to bring this awareness also that this man exists, that man can do such noble things for women if they really care about women and they love them. So it's something really beautiful can happen if you really love someone.
How often do you think about him?
About him? Only when somebody asks me. I don't really think about him in a normal routine. I'm constantly so busy, and my brain is always occupied with so many projects and things. So one of the technique also not to go to the past because it can ruin you completely. And I learn also there is another technique. So I learn how to block your past, so you don't. The worst thing when you compare what if he wouldn't be dead and we would meet each other in Greece and happily live and have 3 kids and blah, blah, blah. What actually brings you? Nothing. You're just basically deprioritizing yourself, and it's a virtual world which doesn't exist, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to focus on the present moment. And I always do this technique. Maybe you heard that. When I go to this negative thoughts, what if, or my past, or I got a little bit emotional because maybe it's really a few times in my life when I went back to that moment when I was raped and beaten up almost to death. I don't allow myself to remember that, because if I would never get over that dark emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And then this can lead me to a really bad things. Like, for example, I don't drink alcohol. I choose not to, because in the past, if I would drink, my brain slowly, but my shield, my guard would, drop, and I would remember that memories and that experience, and I would go into darkness. As I don't consume any drugs, because it can also bring me the same problem, So I self-regulate myself and I self-control myself because I choose healthy lifestyle. I choose to achieve my goals rather than memorizing and remembering that past. That past made me who I am today, and I choose to be strong, right? And move on rather than to live in the past. And I strongly advise people not to live in the past and remembering the past, but move on, because the life is beautiful. There's so many amazing things in the world. You can do so many great things for others, for human progress, for our planet, for our home. It's amazing.
The thing is that it does keep coming up for you.
It does keep coming back.
It keeps coming back. It keeps coming back when you drink. It keeps coming back.
So that's why I don't drink.
So it's coming back right now. So what I want to ask you is, would you rather process it and come to an understanding and move past it, or keep blocking it?
Okay, great question. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm with my therapist now. So I work with therapists for 17 years, right? As I said. I don't know. I don't know, because I will be honest. I don't think I'm powerful enough to process that. Really. I think it will, it will really destroy me. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather keep it over there for now, because at the moment I still do not feel stable. I due to certain circumstances in my life, I still don't feel like, okay, I am safe. I'm like, I have my security. I don't feel it yet. I am working on that right now. I want to achieve it. Once I will do it, maybe it would be enough power, enough energy to go back and process that. But right now, I'm in a kind of like vulnerable position right now. Still being here in the US for like 5 years, I'm still in a very vulnerable situation. I don't want to go there so dark and work on it. I have not, I don't have power enough to do this.
Have you ever heard of psychedelic therapy?
I've heard, and again, I am scared to do this. Like, especially in Los Angeles, they're all about like ayahuasca and like this, like ketamine therapy, right? I am scared. I'm scared to do that. I'm scared that I will not come back, mentally.
I've done it.
Did it help? I don't know, Sean. Like, I'm scared.
See, the thing with it is, I talk a lot about that on this show, and the majority of the people that I talk about it with are former special ops guys that have done just horrific stuff. And the general consensus is that it's very healing, and for me too. I mean, that when I came off booze. It's been almost 4 years since I've had a drink this February.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
Big achievement.
You
I
too.
know that. It's hard.
But
It's very hard.
actually, it was easy for me. I did psychedelics, and
Really?
it was done.
No, it's hard for me. Sometimes I just want to.
But what I'm saying is, it'll throw you back in those situations, but you're able to observe it from a different perspective, where you're not necessarily emotionally attached, and you process it.
Do you think that I block these memories?
Yeah.
So do you think like if I would go back and process it would actually give me sort of like reveal? Yeah. Only maybe with the
I think you would be
specialist.
able to think about it and move past it from an unemotional. Like, this happened to me. It doesn't define who I am, and it's okay.
Well, I almost came to the state that it's okay. Like, I'm grateful to my experience. If not this, I wouldn't be sitting here, right? So I'm grateful and I'm blessed. But maybe with the right specialist, as I said, like I have a trust issues, obviously. So even with a therapist, I'm very careful about what I'm saying or whatever, because of, you never know. So obviously, like when you are in such a vulnerable state, under psychedelics, you need to really have people whom you trust 100%. Unfortunately, I cannot say that right now in my life I have these people. Maybe because it's my problem. Oh, okay, I trust my son 100%. I do trust some of my friends, so people I work with. But to do psychedelic with them therapy, no. Does it make sense?
Makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I'm just planting a seed, and maybe you'll look into it. And if you do and you need some contacts, let me know.
Okay.
But, going back to Vladimir, I mean, I think it's very obvious that you had some sort of connection, feelings for him. I'm just curious, if you did have the opportunity to talk to him again, what would you tell him?
If I would speak with him, I would tell him thank you. Of course. Thank you for giving me a chance to live this life and being here right now in front of you. Just big thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's it. I mean, I would of course apologize, but I did apologize that night. I think he understood that sometimes we are in these life circumstances that people, you don't need to even say that you apologize because people know that you are. It's different. But being grateful, 100%.
Let's take a break.
Okay.
As the weather gets colder and the year gets busier, sleep becomes the one thing you can't afford to neglect. Between holiday plans, hosting, travel, and peak 6 season, getting real rest actually matters. I switched to a Helix mattress because I was tired of waking up hot and dealing with back stiffness. Their sleep quiz matched me to the exact model I needed, and it was spot on. No more night sweats, no more getting jostled awake by movement, just consistent, solid sleep. Helix is the most awarded mattress brand for a reason. Reviewed by experts at places like Forbes and Wired, delivery is fast and free in the US, and you get a 120-night sleep trial plus a lifetime warranty, so there is no gamble. With everything ramping up this time of year, this is the best time to upgrade your sleep setup. While you're checking everyone else off the list, don't forget to give yourself that one gift you'll feel every single day: better rest. Go to helixsleep.com/SRS for 20% off site-wide. That's helixsleep.com/SRS for 20% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name into the post-purchase survey so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/SRS. A lot of dark stuff going on in the world right now, and it's to the point where I don't even believe my own eyes anymore because I cannot verify what people are saying about all the political violence, the division. I partnered with this production company called Ironclad, and we're doing an 8-part audio series on PSYOPs, on why foreign countries, governments, maybe even our own government would conduct a PSYOP on its own people. And I just think that this series is going to be extremely important because it's going to open the eyes of people on why these things happen. You can head over to psyopshow.com, order it today. I think you're going to get a lot out of this. Who's pulling the strings? Who's pulling them?
You know, some people say that, oh, so her, like, you know, basically the story about her being a spy, it's a cover to cover her real identity. She's still spy because she goes to all this, like, here, she goes there, she has this lifestyle. She's definitely a spy. I'm like, oh my God, these people.
Well, everybody thinks I'm a spy too.
Really? They do?
Yeah. They don't all think that, but a lot of people think that.
Okay, so this is kind of normal when you speak about this kind of thing. So people think you are a spy. So in America, it's kind of normal because I will explain. I don't know, like you can totally recall that. So what I was surprised when I moved to America, you see, I lived in Europe for 15 years, right? When I told some people about just like my very close people. So for example, I was dating Lord, a British Lord who was very close to royal family. So I told him like about, you know, my past. So we still have a really good friendship and all that. He told me, sweetheart, please do not share this to anyone in this country. Like, just don't. I'm like, okay. So I didn't. I come here and it was sort of like a necessary thing to do. But when I shared that, what I didn't expect that press will go viral. Like viral as it became like viral, like different other countries, including even India or like
Wow.
you know, Asia, Greece, and all like Slovakia, Slovenia, Australia, like I mean, like they all were writing about like so it's ongoing press. Like the New York Post, it was the recent one, but before that, it was much bigger mainstream. So my team did an estimation. It was over 500 million viewers on just like some articles, which is crazy. So, but everything came from America. So American press presented me. So I kind of like told them what I did. But in my perspective, this is operative work, what I was doing. I would never call it like spy work. Yet we did spy on our targets, when we had to gather information, we need to do research, blah, blah. But yes. So the press calls like, oh, she is a sex spy and all this, and it went just viral. And I'm like, wow. Like, so I was even like, oh my God, like this is crazy. So I think, especially in America, because of the Cold War situation, and because I'm coming from USSR, it's just like became so big and so viral just because of like, people ask these questions like, okay, so if you spy, it must be like in the movie Red Sparrow. So you must seduce these American ministers, politicians, ambassadors. So this is the belief. Like, oh my God. So this, the imagination is crazy, especially in America. Like, why?
Oh, yeah. Americans are notorious for over-sensationalizing news stories and over-embellishing pretty much everything. So, but...
conspiracy theories, with some of them I cannot disagree. I agree. But the whole like spy thing, I mean, yes, of course, it does exist. But only in this country, it's just so much interest.
Everybody thinks I'm still a spy. Actually, I was never a spy. I was but anyways.
Have you ever spied on someone, like on your targets, like to get some information?
Yeah, okay. I guess I was a spy.
So see, that's... So if you were doing that, even for one target, they call you spy. Yet, like in Russia, they would never call each other, hey, spy, come here. Like, hey, spy, you have to go to this mission.
We don't... Yeah, it doesn't happen here.
Right?
Either.
They don't do it in the military. They call you like according to your rank or according to your job status. Like, for example, operative, blah, blah, blah. Your mission is so-and-so. Or like they would say, agent so-and-so. Right?
What do they accuse you of being a spy for? What's your
press?
current mission? Wait, are you talking about press or are we talking about people or what are we talking?
I don't know. I just noticed that.
I see it in the comments.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. In America, people still think that I am a spy. So I came to this country in order to spy for Russians. I'm like, people, please try to hear me out. Please, I'm sitting here in front of Sean Ryan and actually giving my whole story away, like telling the whole thing about myself. If I would be a spy, an active spy, would I want to do that? I mean, what for? It's so weird even to think.
See, they're
like
going to
that.
say that that's the cover.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they say. This is the cover.
She was told to say that. They're probably fucking spying together. Now there'll be a whole narrative out there crafted that we're a team. I don't know if we're working for Russia or the U.S. I don't know, but what they're going to come.
Great plot. So a Russian spy and American spy got together at the podcast.
And do a podcast.
Oh my God. It's hilarious. But yes.
And then there'll be the other people that'll be like, see, they have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. This is what this is.
Yeah, and then like this
this
actually
is
will
welcome
happen.
to the internet. But anyways, we talk about this shit all the time. All the time.
Okay, so
But I am curious. I have a question.
If I was spy. Okay.
Have you ever worked in Silicon Valley?
Oh my God. Yes.
No shit.
Sorry. Yes, I did. Okay, so and then cut. This is like a short, and then the government. She just.
Here it is.
She just said yes. Okay, so I was actually invited to Silicon Valley, San Diego-based company, a very big company, to actually give a public speaking in front of CEOs and executives to talk about spy techniques, how to prevent manipulation, how to spot lie, how to read people, and how to increase sales using spy techniques.
Nice.
So, yes. Actually, I was invited by ABC and Hulu. They want to do the same. They want to kind of like film me giving a lecture about how to prevent manipulation for executives in Silicon Valley using these spy techniques from female spies. Just funny.
That's a real problem over there.
Why? You mean like because of the...
That is a big problem, especially with the AI race going on with China right now. That is a big fucking problem.
Yeah.
So what do you tell them? What do you tell them? What are they looking out for? How do you avoid espionage in Silicon Valley?
As you said, like we just discussed that. So number one, be very cautious, be aware of these sort of potential fake female accounts when they love bombing you. Why
bombing?
and how? Like how did they find you? Why do they text you? Okay, we know what they want. Oh, like I just want to meet you. I think you're cute. How you like possibly can see in this little picture, like how the person looks like, right? Most of like accounts are private, especially in LinkedIn. There are not so many pictures. These Silicon Valley tech executives, they definitely don't have Instagrams. Probably not even Facebooks. So as Jay...
Here's a good rule to live by. This is just a good rule for everybody to live by. If you've never had a 10 come up to you and want to fuck you, and all of a sudden they're coming around, it's probably because they want your money or your tech.
Yeah. Or like
You
any information.
You didn't turn into a 10 overnight. So
Yes. Especially when you're...
just be honest with yourself.
Yeah, but it's really hard for people, especially for men, to be honest. Like, really. I spoke with one person who is in Silicon Valley and CEO of a very big company. Cannot say his name and the company name because it's quite big. So he knows who I am. We spoke, we know each other through friends. And he goes, you know what? So I'm sitting in a restaurant, like for the lunch break. And this beautiful, gorgeous, Slovakian-looking, hot girl comes and she's like, you know, pampering me with compliments and like blah, 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 and all this. And she wanted me to go with her to have sex, like straight away. But he told me, I didn't know. He said I was wise enough. I understood that she probably was a spy. So I'm so good. I didn't go with her, even though it was so hard to resist. Do you think she was a spy? I'm like, oh my God, dude. And then another comments also from Silicon Valley guys, also quite big, you know, corporations, big status, executives and all that. They said, so what? At least I will be fucked by gorgeous girl. Why not?
Wow.
I'm telling you that it's crazy, but that's you know, comments I receive
Wow.
from them. Yeah.
How many, I am curious. I mean, how many, is this common knowledge in Silicon Valley? Does everybody know?
I think now it is because of the Times article, but before I don't think so. You know how many actually Slovakian women go there to target potential future husbands? Like,
Probably
it's unbelievable. I know the story.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, I know a lot of stories actually. Do you remember like 10, 20 years ago, it was very popular, these websites, dating websites. They would call it like Russian wife or like bring Russian wife or like Russian date or whatever. So
Mail order brides.
Right. So this American Silicon Valley-based man would go online to find Russian or whatever, like Slovakian-looking woman, speak with them online. Before seeing them, make for them bride visa so they could come from Russia or Ukraine or whatever countries to America to meet with them for like, I think the visa was for 6 months. And they decide if they want to marry them, like this woman, then she would stay under the marriage visa, like the, green card marriage residency, or she would go back home. But most likely, of course, these women would do everything to, to, to show like the best behavior, obviously in every possible way. So this man would end up marrying them. And surprisingly, I know a lot of females having these situations. So they would particularly target American men from California, from Silicon Valley, in order to move to America, get married, have kids with them. And then who knows, maybe still deliver some information to the government. And I spoke with one of them, and you know what she said? We spoke about this, and there was like some sort of like conflicts between different women. One woman would say, how can you actually create a family and raise kids with your target? Another one would say, yes, but if you do that for the government, like, why would you do it for government, right? But she another one said, like, imagine the situation, what if your parents in Ukraine or Russia, Belarus or wherever, what if they are threatened or they would be put on risk if you would reject this task from the government? So,
Man, how many spies do you think are over there?
a lot.
How many countries?
How many countries? From different, definitely. Okay, so I spoke with one person I mentioned before, mostly China, because Chinese are particularly targeting the IP, intellectual property from the American companies, corporative companies, Russians, not so much Mossad. British, they said that's not in a good shape right now. Sorry, but it is what it is. I mean, I spoke with the pro. That's a very classified information, but it's actually truth. So you see, the point is that the Chinese secret intelligence and Russian, they don't really have human rights law as high as in America. So for them, using humans, it's quite common and normal. Okay, and besides, they don't have that much money to use technology, so it's easier to use humans.
Are you still in contact with any of your family?
Yes, of course.
Your father?
Yes.
How do you think?
We speak time to. I mean, like not every day, of course, but we speak like once a week or 2 weeks, just to check on them. We cannot speak anything about the war, political situation, anything like that. We usually speak about about the house, how do they feel, and what's going on in their life, and I just speak about my job, and that's it.
Have you and your dad ever had a conversation about your previous career?
Yes, and you know what my dad said? Even like 2 years ago, he said, maybe you should come back to Russia and, reinstall yourself in the military and continue working. So at that point, I understood that I love my dad, I love my family, of course, but it's he doesn't get it. You know how like it's just he doesn't understand, he doesn't see what I see, and it's impossible to teach him or trying to explain him, because I did try to explain when the war started. But it went to the argument. So my mom said, please don't speak with him about this stuff. Just don't.
Wow.
When he doesn't know the whole story about Vladimir, but when I actually moved out from Russia, even though I was still in Russia, he actually stopped talking to me because what I said to him, the way I presented it, I said, I quit, and I left. So my dad didn't speak with me for over a year because I betrayed his plans and his goals on my future and sort of the family. I kind of like let him down, if you understand what I mean, because he was portraying me and believing that I would be, you know, having this like high rank and maybe like, you know, he would be proud of me and all that. I went to a completely different path. I don't understand if I think he doesn't understand that and he doesn't approve that. But at the moment, it is what it is. Of course, he would want to have, for me, different future.
Man, that is fucking tough. I mean, how would you go back to Russia and work in an intelligence unit anyways? I mean, abandoned.
I could if I wouldn't go public like I'm doing right now. I definitely could.
If you didn't go public, but you are public.
Well, that's why I decided to go public, because I'm like, I'm so done. I don't want anyone contact me. I don't want anyone to be sent. I don't want to be attached.
Oh, this conversation with your dad was before you went public.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So now when I'm like public and all this, so the good thing, they don't have social media because it's banned in Russia. Like, you know, Spotify is banned. WhatsApp is banned. Every single platform are banned in Russia. Sometimes they don't have internet. Some days they literally don't have internet. So they cannot really go and see. The only one platform they can check is my Instagram. But my Instagram is all about fashion. So when I moved to London at 30, I finally was like, okay, so finally I can do something for myself. And my dream was to work in fashion. So I was enrolled into top fashion university, Istituto Morangoni in London. I got my master's degree and I started to work in fashion. And I was super happy because I was working for a really big publishing house like Condé Nast in the UK, for Vogue and Tatler and Vanity Fair magazine. So for me, it was very big and prestigious. So I created my fashion blog in Instagram. So everything is about fashion. So I go to fashion weeks, Milan, Paris. I promote fashion brands. I get paid. So Instagram is my revenue, but as a fashion blogger. So I became an influencer in fashion much earlier than I revealed my identity being a secret agent. And sometimes people, they don't understand because they don't scroll down the Instagram to to my past. And they say, oh, she revealed her story about being spy because she just wanted to become an influencer. I'm like, where is the logic here? Like, why don't you just scroll down to my Instagram? Why don't you see that I got 1 million followers much earlier than I revealed my identity being a spy? And it was like I was living in Europe mostly of the time. So my dad and my family, they don't really, and besides they don't speak English, so they don't really understand this kind of things. They just see my Instagram, oh, like she's wearing this nice dress, she's on the red carpet here, she's on the red carpet like in Cannes and Venice or wherever, so okay. That's it. So what's going on like with the Spotify and YouTube, they don't have access.
Gotcha.
Yes. Thank God.
Well, your fashion career has gone. How long have you been in fashion?
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah, I'm 40 now, so I've been there 10 years. I started from 13.
You're in everything. I mean, I'll probably misspeak here, but when I went through, I mean, it's like Vogue, glamour, vanity, like everything.
Thank
You're
you.
in everything.
Thank you. Well,
impressive.
I love fashion. I was born in Soviet Union. There was no fashion at all. So I was, stitching and tailoring clothes for dolls, and then for myself, and then for my friends. So fashion, I always like love fashion. I wanted to kind of like have my own style and all that. So if you really like, implement yourself and all that, of course, you can achieve everything you want as long as you work hard on that and, you're moving on. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm very happy that my son just recently signed a deal with the top 4 model agencies in the world.
Congratulations.
Thank you. He has really good physics, parameters. The only one thing I need to manage him because you know how fashion industry is. It's entertainment and all that. So he has to be very careful. So I would be the one who would guide him, introduce him to designers, be there as his manager, and just help him to go through. So, yeah, I'm very excited about that.
Right on. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Do you use your seduction techniques to get what you want today?
Always. Today?
Today.
No. Today, I mean, like, first of all, you're a married guy.
Well, I don't mean to me. I just mean in anything.
To audience, high audience, too, like me.
I mean, to advance your fashion career, to get anything that you want. I mean, do you use those techniques?
In my normal life, yes. And I would say this is my DNA, always, but in a good way. You see, you can use spy techniques for good. Like, for example, you want to motivate or inspire your colleagues. That's why, congratulations, you're top 1 podcast in YouTube and in Spotify. Why? Because you inspire your team, you bring them together, you motivate them. Because alone, we can't do all this job. We need like right, good team next to us doing, this mission together. Mm-hmm. Like in the military, you cannot do the mission by yourself. You have to have the right team with you, right? So how to motivate people, how to inspire them, giving right compliments, programming them as well through anchors, but in the right way. Or for example, a wife can inspire and motivate and program her husband in order to kind of like push him a little bit to be more successful, to have a desire to make more money, to do something, to kind of like create more things, So spy techniques can be used for good. Also, spy techniques can be used for spotting the lie. What if you receive all these offers from potential business partnerships, but they actually trying to lie to you, taking advantage from you? What if you can actually, it's not just like gut feeling, but it's also understanding the body language, the eye contact, like analyze their words, right? Observe their behavior, their character, like what they say, how they say. It's a lot of little details. But what if you can understand that and learn how to do all this in order to protect yourself from giving away something in the business which is not beneficial for you? So same in the relationship, right? Like we just discussed, like what if man would understand that this woman potential gold digger, this woman is potential spy, trying to get something out of you, or like they look into your wallet rather than you, and how to maybe, not like even maybe, but how to place the right boundaries. Because we all treat people according to the way how they present themselves. If you present yourself as a weak man, as dependent and emotional and kind of like, weak, most likely there would be a woman who would come and try to abuse you in order to get something out of you. Mm-hmm. Right? So you need to place your boundaries first. You need to have and raise your self-esteem, your self-confidence. And that when you are confident, most likely nobody will be able to manipulate you or use you or take something from you. We're talking about like healthy partnership, but healthy partnership starts from yourself, right? So spy techniques can use for good, and that's what I teach to people, and that's what I'm, writing in the book. And I want to share this to people, where spy techniques can use for the dark psychology, for the manipulation as well. But that's my responsibility not to share these techniques to public, to audience, so they won't use it on each other.
How do you tell if somebody's lying?
Many things. Now, you know what? Now I went to the kind of like maybe special skill I noticed. It wasn't like this before. Before I would analyze according to the theory. Now I can actually, without even body language or the whole presentation, I can smell the lie, which is so funny. But I think it's over time, practice, and wisdom. So number one, for just people to understand, number one, how to spot the lie. When somebody tries to push whatever they want, and they try to push you in a way that hurry up, like we need to do it now. Like today is the day, like now is the time. We need to do it now. Let's do now. Come on. Like when somebody is rushing you like this, and another person, for example, would distract you with talks or other like activities or whatever. This is a big red flag. So you need to guys, give me some time. Let me think. This is really important to remember. So never make any decisions when you are in this like rush situation. Second, the lie. Yeah, of course, body language, but we all know that, right? So like people say, well, I wouldn't say that this is actually work. Like when people look like, up left or up right, usually like left, they're saying like, it doesn't work like that because.
That could be a confidence problem.
Yeah, or sometimes we remember something, sometimes we think about something, or sometimes like I can like go like this and like thinking like, looking at your beautiful picture over there, for example, like there could be so many thoughts. Like I wouldn't stress particular on the eye position, but body language, yes. So when somebody's hiding something, they usually hide themselves, right? Usually like women, they sit either like this, like, it's a very close position, or they put the back on the knees, also like closing position. Or again, like when you're covering your mouth, or like you covering your eyes, or like you so you try to, whatever you say, but you distract.
You're looking for something to do.
Yeah, like at the same time, like you hiding something. You feel it, right? So check the whole posture. Like, how is it? Some very skilled liars, they would take care, but they would control the body language, of course. So you wouldn't even notice on the body language. But then it's so important to understand what they're like asking from you. Obviously, if a random person comes to you with an offer and pushing you or placing you in the situation you cannot say no, that's definitely a manipulation, and you should like just withdraw yourself and just get out from this and take time to think. And also like important thing, check the person, of course, like check the social media, check like, people, ask people if they know this person, if he's legit, if he's not legit, what has he done, who does he know him, like what kind of like, relationship he has. It could be about women and men, doesn't matter. You need to check, now we live in the internet world where you can check everything about anyone. There is a great website. I checked one person recently. You just pay like couple bucks and it gives you the whole thing, especially in America, which is like fascinating. You get like the address, partners, marriages and all that. Why not? So check people before you are getting yourself into some situations where you will regret after.
Would you say be aware of people that don't give you the opportunity to talk? Fast talkers, overabundance of talking,
Yeah.
is an avoidance of questioning.
Yeah. Distraction. They distract you with their talk. So you're kind of like you're lost. So you cannot like even hear your thought process because you're like distracted with the conversation.
This was a fascinating conversation.
Thank you.
What
Sorry.
should we cover? Or is this the end?
I don't know. You tell me. I'm like, we went from like crying to laugh.
I think we covered it.
Okay.
I'd love to get you back. You gonna come back?
Yeah. After I will do psychedelic therapy,
Right.
and then after like, okay, now I am connected with my Zen, and I'm ready. I'm ready to go through that again and like tell you the whole thing.
I hope you look into it.
I mean,
I think it'd do a lot of good for you.
maybe next year. So this year almost gone. Next year, when the book will be out, hopefully I'll get like I will be sorted out with my citizenship and everything, and then we'll see. I mean, maybe yes, maybe I'll have the power enough. But again, like it's all about like the time also, the right time. You see, like when you travel, when you're committed to so many projects, you just simply don't have time to yourself. And that's also important. Like I need to have time for myself, and I'm so happy this Christmas break is coming because everybody will be busy or like with family, so I can finally sleep and I can finally rest. Finally, I can like sleep in my bed for at least 8 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, this is my dream.
Last question. If you could recommend 3 guests for this podcast, who would they be?
3 guests. You know what? So I listen a lot of your episodes and I scroll down the whole YouTube. It's amazing, very interesting topics and all that. I actually really fascinated. I won't go to this, conversations, but it doesn't matter. But like some of the guests, they were just amazing, like wow, and very inspiring. But I noticed that there are not so many female guests, so I think if you would bring more female guests, especially therapists. So for example, you talk about mental healing and PTSD. Maybe it would be great to bring somebody like expert or therapist on that, but from female perspective.
Okay.
I would also invite a relationship female coach. So for example, or like I'm happy to talk about what women want from men on the first date or like in terms of like long relationship, because it's such a like men obviously have completely different psychology from women. Women also have different psychology from men, but like when women more kind of like educated in this way, because women have a precise time limit. Men, they don't. So it's very important for female to have everything during like a specific time zone, like, marrying kids, raising kids, also making career and all that. So it's very limited time.
What do women want from men? I'll ask you.
Okay. Good question. Women want from men only one thing. Ta-da-da! Women want stability. That's it. Stability. That's it, guys. It's wherever you would hear, oh, she wants this size, or she wants that size of a wallet. Rubbish. They want stability. I can tell you this, and as a woman, and I work with women, even if a guy doesn't make that much, revenue yet, but he is stable, meaning that he is self-regulated, he's self-disciplined, he committed to his work, he committed to his project, he committed to their relationship. So he doesn't lie, he doesn't cheat on, not just like physical cheating, but like cheating, like lying, or like maybe this is water, maybe this is wine, maybe this is black, maybe this is white. Like, like this kind of like, because this is not stability. When women spot that man is lying somewhere, the trust is gone. And then women think like, how can I actually have kids with this man if he lies to me in these small things? And then like after like having kids, like what if he will leave me? What if like he'll just let me down in something or whatever, right? So women seeking for stability, even though, as I said, the guy is not like maybe successful yet, but he's very committed to everything he does. And he says, tomorrow I will do this, and he does it. Like, I go to gym, let's say every day for 1 hour, and he does it. Whatever, but he is committed to everything he's doing. Then a woman has this understanding that, okay, I can trust him. He's stable. Because during the time, I can see that he didn't mess up in anything. So I can trust this guy. So I am okay to go ahead with him and build life together. So stability. But of course, they're like small, not like small details, but they're like other details. Like, of course, women are looking for attention. Physical attention, compliments, moral attention and support, of course. Otherwise, I strongly believe, and that's what I say to my students, as I said, women, they have limit with time. And for a woman, it's very important to choose the target wisely. Sorry. Okay, let's call a potential partner, the right partner, a target. So if a woman goes into a relationship with a cute guy and she just likes him, but he's unstable and he mess up like in different things, but she forgives him and she goes ahead, it may be like, a lot of time, like years sometimes, and she's still, waiting for something. Most likely this guy will never offer you and propose you, and most likely this guy would never be committed to you because he doesn't even know what does he want. So why would you waste your precious time on this person? Because we cannot change people unless they want to change themselves. So if you think that you will change man, this not going to happen. So instead, why don't you choose the right man who is also willing to work with you on building something together? But the thing is, it's very difficult. Of course, it's hard to find the right target. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's possible. Because in the beginning, also, you need to have your boundaries and you need to tell the man, what are you looking for? As like he needs also to tell you, what does he want? Because like you may be in playing these games, but in fact, like he just wants to have easy, simple sex and you want to build a family with him and have kids. Like you are in different, dimensions.
Worlds.
Exactly. So of course it's not going to work and you'll just waste your time. And then what would happen? You will have a broken heart, PTSD, you lose time and energy and you use. How many examples of like the stories do we have? Do we know?
Millions.
So that's why women need to know what do they want and they need to state in the beginning of relationship, what do they want? In a nice way, of course, not like, okay, I want this. But the funny thing is, I have one of my students who actually, so that time she was 38 years old, working in the bank, beautiful girl. And she was like, you know what, I want to, I've done my career, blah, blah, blah. I have like income, good, stable income. I have some savings. So I want to have family. I want to have kids. I want the right man. And what she did, she just basically went online and every single evening she would meet with new men, but she would state, dude, I want to get married. I'm 38 years old. I'm planning, da, 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 da. And a little bit about herself. I'm so and so and so. So even in dating website, like sort of like Tinder or wherever, but she was able to find the right guy for herself. And now they're happily married with 2 kids. And it's been already like, over 6 years. So it's possible. But you need to know, what do you want?
Good advice.
Well, I hope it helps.
Great advice. Well, Aaliyah, I just want to say thank you for coming. I'd love to get you back here.
Thank you, Sean.
Fascinating
I really appreciate
conversation.
it. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Best of luck.
Thank you.
No matter where you're watching Sean Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, share this everywhere you possibly can. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave us a review on Apple and Spotify podcasts.